Hey!
What's going on, fellas?
How's it going, bro?
Show us a
Doing
special
good.
guest.
Yeah, not able to join as a host today. I'm sure the last 4 minutes have been the worst 4 minutes of anybody's life. No, I'm just playing. I love you guys. But not able to do the whole show tonight, but wanted to pop in, say hi to everybody, and hello and welcome to Updog Sports Talk.
Heck yes. And without saying too much, congratulations, Matt. I know definitely exciting times over there for you guys.
Yeah. I wanted to be a part of the show, but this was way more important. So appreciate you guys taking over. And I mean, the Bengals aren't going to be involved in the draft at all, so I don't know why you guys are wearing any of that gear. But how about Fernando Mendoza? What do we think he's going to do for the Raiders?
Do like after he gets drafted, or do you think he won't get drafted?
I mean, I think at this point, everybody's. If you bet against him, you may as well just throw your money in the sewer.
Right. I think he'll be. I think a lot of things, but hopefully he'll be a key piece in several other pieces for the Raiders, so we don't have to go back to another decade, 2 decades, 3 decades of bullshit.
Hey, I mean, there's quite a few teams in that.
Yeah,
in that realm right there. So I mean, it can't be much worse than Jamarcus Russell, right?
I mean, it can, but it hasn't.
The last time the Raiders had first overall pick.
Yeah. Which, speaking of which, can I say a stat that I was reading earlier today?
For sure.
Yeah,
go ahead. Stage is yours.
So it's something I saw today. It says, reminder that whoever gets drafted after Fernando Mendoza tonight will be a guaranteed Hall of Famer. Their references are, in 2002, the Raiders picked Napoleon Harris, and the next pick after that was Ed Reed. 2004, Robert Gallery. Next pick, Larry Fitzgerald. 2005, Fabian Washington. Next pick was Aaron Rodgers. 2007, Jamarcus Russell. Next pick was Calvin Johnson. 2010, traded away a pick to New England, which they used for Rob Gronkowski. And in 2016, they picked Jihad Ward, which the next pick was Derrick Henry. So whoever is going number 2 to the Jets is going to be a Hall of Famer.
but the thing is, they're going to the Jets.
Hey, maybe they'll be the turnaround for the Jets then.
Oh my, yeah. That is quite the stat. A very impressive one. Yeah, I'm absolutely amazed. And right now, odds to be drafted number 2 overall just jumped up on my screen here. It looks like Arvell Reese is now favored to go number 2. The odds have quickly changed to him. So Arvell Reese, congratulations to being a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, looks like it.
Why wouldn't Arvell Reese be the favorite to go there?
Well, you can look at their mock drafts to see why.
I saw his name pop up earlier. I don't remember what position he is. I know he went to Ohio State though. Who is he? Remind me, please.
Yeah, he's an edge rusher out of Ohio State. Edge rusher, linebacker.
Edge rusher. Okay, yeah. I don't know why his name didn't come up in my head. I'm sorry. I'm looking like an idiot now.
No worries. I know like the defensive players are a little bit harder to identify sometimes. And that's always the interesting one to kind of figure out. But and this draft is going to be very heavy on defensive players, I feel like.
Yeah, I agree. If I saw the first round right, there's up to like at least 5 that can go in the first round. Could. But yeah.
It might be, I think even up to like 6 could be. And it's going to be interesting.
All right, gents, I hate to do this. I hate to do this. I've been in here for 5 minutes, but I gotta go. Y'all have a good show. If I can pop in later, I'll try to pop in later. But if not, then Queso, good luck with your Raiders. Hopefully they strike gold this time. And everybody else, I guess the Bengals aren't doing anything today, so there's no point in watching.
Thanks, bro. You have a good evening, man.
Yeah, I'll see you guys.
See ya. It's good to have Matt in there for a moment. At least he got to pop in and say hi to start off the show. But yeah, we're here for a while. This is going to be pretty fun. Queso, like let's dive into your love of college football, and then after that, like how you became a Raiders fan.
Okay. Excuse me. Sorry. I know that's bad for air, but sorry. So I grew up out in far west Texas where it seemed like everyone was a Longhorn fan, but I was like, nah, I'm not going to be a Longhorn fan. I'll be an Aggie fan. And so it was like me and one other kid. Mind you, we were like 7 years old. So this wasn't like as a teenager going, you know what, F everyone, and I'm going to do my own thing. It was just as a kid, I'm like, nah, I'm going to be with this guy over here. And of course, I don't know the lore. I don't know the lore of A&M at the time until later. But yeah, and then, fell in love with tradition. But I was a Raider fan before that. Biggest example was Jerry Rice. So I was at that weird impressionable age at that time where I was more of a Jerry Rice fan than I was like a set team. And then he went to the Raiders, and then they were having success, and I was, and then it just kind of, when they went to the Super Bowl, it just kind of stuck as Jerry Rice, and then just kind of stayed a Raider, and I've been like that ever since. So yeah, I've been a Raider since I was a very small kid. So it's not like I'm a bandwagon. Like I have my ex-brother-in-law, he became a Jets fan in 2009. Mind you, he's 2 years older than me, so which means he was a full-blown adult when he chose that. So
Oh, that's great. Yeah, that's kind of funny. Like that, you remember, like because the Jerry Rice era there was not very long. Like he was only there for a few years. Jerry Rice, of course, Mississippi Valley State Delta Devil legend. But yeah, that's pretty cool. Obviously, lots more rough years since then. You guys have been through a lot. I was about to mention earlier, like the Raiders have they have fired their coach at the end of the year every single year. John Gruden's still the last coach to make it multiple years. So Fernando Mendoza is trying to be the guy that really does change the fortunes of this franchise.
Yeah, and I think I think Kubiak he'll be a good coach for us, and plus he's very quarterback minded, and I think it became official on ESPN with Fernando Mendoza.
Yep, it is official. Fernando Mendoza, the pick of the Raiders.
Let's go. Oh, sorry.
It's gonna be very fun. Like him and Kirk Cousins are gonna be quite the duo in that quarterback room.
A lot of Canadian. I don't, because neither of them are Canadian, but a lot of Canadian-like manners going on in that quarterback room.
For real, like it's gonna be so much of just just like a lot of please and thank you and just overall both guys are just gonna be really excited and it's definitely a new tide for the Raiders a little bit because neither one of them seem like a Raider at all. Like they're not at all what you think of. Max Crosby is probably more of like what you would imagine a Raider to look like.
Yeah, a traditional Raider. Without the record though, because he doesn't have a
record. Also true. Which by the way, what a wild saga that was. Got traded to the Ravens.
Yeah.
And they end up basically realizing they could get Trey Hendrickson without losing picks. and basically canceling that.
Yeah, it was a very strange. It reminded me a lot of. I know this isn't football, but when Chris Paul was going to be traded to the Raiders, not the Raiders, the Lakers, and then the NBA commissioner's like, "Nah, that's not going to happen." And it's like, I didn't know you had a say in vetoing, but whatever.
Oh, that's hilarious. Yeah, and by the way, our intern is currently dealing with audio issues. He is trying to resolve that, so he will be joining us again here shortly. But yeah. So I think this is an exciting new era for the Raiders. I'm happy for you. Like you guys deserve this. So far, ever since they moved to Las Vegas, it has been nothing but cursed football the whole way.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. We made the playoffs one year, but that was in spite of John Gruden's antics from years past. That year shouldn't have happened, I guess is the best way to put that. Like even still to this day, my wife is like, why can't we get Bisaccia? I was like, I don't know. They should have hired him back then, but here we are now, and he seems happy as a special teams coordinator. So
Yeah, that's the funny thing too. Like they were not in a good position when he took over as interim coach. Like he did all the work to basically drive that team to the playoffs.
Yeah.
And then doesn't get the job, and nothing has worked since then.
Yeah, and pretty much ever since then, I've always been iffy on the coaching carousel they've been through. Because it's like Josh McDaniels super hesitant. I was like, oh my God, like, do people forget what happened last time he was a head coach? And I'm like, well, hopefully it won't be the same. And like, it's obviously been a long time, but like, yeah, I still in the back of my mind, I'm like, something probably is going to go wrong. Sure enough, it did pretty quickly. I was okay with the Antonio Pierce hiring because like he's a player's coach, which probably is what they needed at the time. But I'll tell you when he lost the fans and probably most of the locker room at this point was the handling of the whole Devontae Adams situation. Essentially, I know as a coach, and when you're talking to the press, you don't want to give too much away, but to blatantly lie for 2-3 weeks in a row, talking about, oh, I talk with him every day. He wants to be a Raider, blah blah blah, and then all of a sudden he's off to New York. And then add in that in a game where we were getting our ass kicked, the camera shows him laughing after a turnover. It was a fumble. I will always remember it. I'm like, you're the coach, dude. You can't be laughing on the sideline because a player fumbled the ball. Are you kidding me? Oh, but yeah, that was when he lost. That right there is when he lost all the fans. So that turned into its own thing. And of course, Pete Carroll, I've always liked him overall, but even though one thing I always said, and I said it on this show at one point too, I go, he's always been really good at connecting with the younger players, even though he's older. But also, he's old. So that was another one where it's like, I hope it works out, and maybe it will, but like something's telling me it's not. Kubiak is the first. He's actually a coach where I'm like, this is a very good hiring, and I'm so glad we hired him. Where I actually feel confident in what he can do. I'm not saying the first year or two will be great, but it shouldn't be a shit show like everything else was every other year since 2021.
Yeah, and like that Devontae Adams situation was something else because he really hated it there. Which, by the way, mentioned Devontae Adams. You mentioned the Jets. Actually, ESPN was pretty quick on this. Like, I don't think anyone had this pick leaked. David Bailey going to the Jets. So we all were correct after all. All of our mocks had David Bailey there. We ended up getting that one correct. Congratulations to him. Edge rusher out of Texas Tech. He put up a historic season this past year with the Red Raiders. Just was very dominant. And yeah, according to that stat that you laid out earlier, David Bailey's getting set to be a Hall of Famer.
Well, being in the position he is, he can easily be on teams that never make the playoffs and still be dominant. Just look at, most of J.J. Watt's career. I mean, the Texans weren't all that great. They had a few good years.
I mean, heck, so far, Max Crosby, Myles Garrett.
Max Crosby, Myles Garrett, exactly, yeah. You can be a great edge rusher, just, yeah. You can be, sorry, let me rephrase. You can be a future Hall of Famer without ever having real success as an edge rusher in the NFL.
Yeah, so I mean, it's very possible. We could see David Bailey end up having a Hall of Fame career even without the Jets succeeding still. But I congratulations to the Jets. Congratulations to David Bailey. Like I think, actually, I meant to do this in the intro, but then we had a lot going on there. But like the NFL draft, I think what really makes it special because the NFL is a league where if you don't win the Super Bowl, your season doesn't really mean anything. It's not like college football where you can win a bowl game and that's pretty cool, even though people are trying to change that at the moment. In the NFL, like the Super Bowl is really it. So the entire offseason is spent building hope. That's how you're basically selling hope. And the NFL draft is the biggest part of that. So I think that's what makes tonight special. And I think for the Raiders and Jets, there's a lot to feel good about here, these first couple picks.
Yeah, I'm a Texas Tech. My brother is a Texas Tech fan. So he'll be happy about this. Yeah, I think Bailey will do well in the NFL. Even if he doesn't have a Hall of Fame career, I think he'll be pretty good.
Yeah. And so now for the Raiders for a moment here, like what are you hoping they address in the second round?
Okay, so this may not address the second round, although it might. I, as a Texas A&M Aggie and as a Montana Grizzly, really hope that they also draft Casey Concepcion and Michael Wortham. Even if Michael Wortham is a 6th-round pick or something like that, that would be a crazy speedster receiving core when you add in Jack Beck and Deontay Thornton. So that would be pretty awesome.
Yeah, I think that would be really cool. Yeah, I'm a huge Michael Wortham fan. I think he's going to be really good for whatever team drafts him, and hopefully we see that here late in the draft. I mean, obviously it would be cool if it happened earlier, but it sounds like most projections kind of hold in that probably earliest is round 4 down to like round 7. So we'll kind of see where he ends up there, but yeah, the Arizona Cardinals on the clock right now. I think Matt's kind of checking in here in the chat, mentioning we're 2 for 2, and also, the draft gets interesting. Do the Cardinals maybe even trade out of this pick? That could happen. Or Jeremiah Love to kind of give themselves a difference maker at 3. There's been a lot of momentum just in the last couple days about Jeremiah Love to the Cardinals. So that one's very interesting to kind of monitor here. This is definitely the first spot that we could see him go. And it would signal a huge shift because for a long time, we have not seen running backs get prioritized. We've seen a few generational talents get drafted in the top 5, but for the most part, it's not a priority position. But we see one go in the top 3. I think we're starting to see teams value that position again.
Yeah, I agree. But with the Cardinals, I'm not saying a running back would be a bad pick, but wouldn't they need a quarterback? Because they're stuck with Brissett as the starter right now, right?
Yeah, that is what they are currently stuck with. I think the main theory, because there's no quarterback worth taking in this spot. Ty Simpson is not really even a first rounder, but I think what they end up doing is potentially trade back up, maybe even tonight, and get Ty Simpson late in the first round. But the pick is in. Jeremiah Love is going to the Arizona Cardinals. So they do end up going running back. Again, a huge shift for that position. Like this is the earliest we've seen a running back come off the board in some time, and here we go. The Cardinals give themselves a true difference maker on the offense. I think for a long time. I mean, last year, literally their offense was just having Jacoby Brissett throw it all over the place. It did not work in terms of winning games. Man, it was beautiful for fantasy football.
I'm back.
Hey, can you hear
Hey!
Dude, I'm over here sweating. It shouldn't be this freaking hard, dude.
Dude, you gotta love technology sometimes. I was just mentioning Jeremiah Love off the board at 3 to the Cardinals, something that gained a lot of momentum here in the last couple of days, well after we had done our last mock. So our first pick's wrong there. None of us had that. Kind of a surprising move, but I think you see it like a top weapon for the Cardinals now.
Yeah, it is surprising. In all of our mocks, we just assumed it would fall to the 4th.
Yeah, or I even had him a little bit lower than that. I thought he could potentially go down to the Commanders at 7.
I saw that.
Just
I thought that was ambitious. I thought that was an ambitious move.
Well, I was going off the pattern, because we haven't seen running backs go early. But I was mentioning before, when Matt mentioned in the chat about Jeremiah Love, I was mentioning we may be seeing a shift where running backs are becoming a higher priority again. And that seems to be the Cardinals' plan right now. So this is definitely our first twist of the NFL draft. The Tennessee Titans are on the board here. I just saw that Fernando Mendoza has already updated his LinkedIn. So congratulations to Fernando. He was very excited about being a Raider. Updated that LinkedIn promptly.
There it goes. I do think as much as I don't like the program that is known as University of Notre Dame, I do like Jeremiah Love. He's one of those old school, I'll hit you in the mouth, take me down, but I'm not going to let you take me down type of running back. So he'll have I think some defenses will think he's going to be easy to take down and then find out quickly that he's not. But, being a Cardinal, you never know. Maybe he'll just end up like other Cardinals running backs and just fall flat on his face on his first tackle. I don't know.
Yeah, I think this does signal the end of James Conner being their main guy. I mean, shout out to him. Like
Yeah.
he went for a long time.
He did.
Like I mean, he was very good in fantasy football, like very solid for many years. And I mean, don't forget that guy beat cancer in college.
Yeah.
And went on to have a very long NFL career.
Yeah.
Especially at the position.
Yeah. And he had a history of injuries. So this makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, Love is very tough, and I don't really know about him ever having injury problems. At least the last 2 years, anyway. So
he was banged up a little bit when they were on the playoff run last year, but that's about it. He's been very reliable, and again, like you said, like he's very explosive. We all know he could break a long play. Scored that kickoff return touchdown against Indiana, or not the kickoff return, that 99-yard touchdown against Indiana on the playoff, and at the same time, also is a guy that can get the hard yards too. So he really is the full package of running back.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited for the Cardinals. That definitely was a huge move for them. And now the Titans. Do we think maybe this could be where the first trade happens? I know our friend of the show, he Mr. First Down is at the draft, and he said that he is hoping that they trade down here, but we'll have to see if that happens, because it feels like overall no one really wants to trade up this high.
Trying to look at Who I did a I have to log in. Fuck. Uh, I did mock draft, but that was for a different website. I'm gonna see who I picked because I just forget all my stuff.
We have a shocker here, guys. Carnell Tate is going to the Titans.
Wow. Did not expect
that. Did not expect that at all. Did not think we would see a receiver off the board this soon. But now the Tennessee Titans giving Cam Ward a true, reliable number one target. I think that's going to really help the offense. I think it's a good pick overall. Very safe pick. Carnell Tate very much, and I mentioned this even on our mock shows, Carnell Tate very much reminds me of Terry McLaurin. Just like always a very good, pretty much great, reliable receiver at Ohio State, but always played second fiddle to a bigger name. For Carnell Tate's career, his entire time it was Marvin Harrison Jr., and then after that it was Jeremiah Smith. So he was always really good, and I think he's going to end up doing Terry McLaurin-like things in the NFL too.
We'll see. I mean, Tennessee really, they don't have too much going on for him down there. They had 0 weapons for Cam Ward. So
yeah,
adding 1 while an improvement from 0, that's where you focus all your defensive coverage. Effectively remove him from the game. I don't know. We'll see.
I think that at least helps. Yes, I think they have like a few other decent targets. They had no one that was truly threatening. Now you have your top threat. Yeah, so I think that was a good move. Queso, what do you think about the Titans pick?
I hope it works out for him. He is a good receiver. But I don't know if he's that high to be picked, but also, I mean, sometimes you have to reach if it's what you need. So it's not that bad of a pick, but it's also kind of a reach. But if you need it, you need it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think one of the biggest surprises is we're now at 5 and Arvell Reese is still on the board. I think the Giants are in a pretty ideal place here. They got some options to help out the defense. Arvell Reese, Kate Downs, and then also Sonny Styles all on the board here. So I definitely think the Giants are going defense at this pick.
They almost have to, right? I mean, they get the 10th spot too. So you almost take best available and then kind of get back to your strategy at the 10th. Courtesy of
I know the only time the Bengals are making an appearance, which, by the way, I don't think Matt saw what I had. This is the Idaho State Bengals, not the Cincinnati Bengals. But yeah, Carnell Tate, he is for sure our first surprise of the draft. I think, I don't know how I feel about it, because on one hand, you have yourself a top weapon. On the other hand, there's a chance that you could have found an upgrade somewhere else on the roster and then draft a receiver in the second round. But personally, that's how I felt about the draft. I thought the receiver class is very deep, but not very top heavy. So, but I think in the end, you can't complain about giving your quarterback a weapon.
No, especially when, Cam Ward showed flashes last year. He's running for his life the whole time, but he did show some flashes, and you got to nurture that.
Absolutely. They have got to, the next pick has got to be an offensive lineman, by the way.
You think?
Yeah. I mean, they have a huge need at that position. I mean, think back on it. Their offensive line used to be so good when they were in the playoffs every year and winning games in the playoffs. And the moment, once Taylor Lewan retired, they They tried to draft replacements. I know they drafted like one guy out of Georgia that was out of the NFL in 1 year in the first. He was a first-round pick out of the NFL in 1 year. No one talks about what a spectacular bust that guy was because it was a late first-round pick and he was out of the league so quickly that no one can remember his name. But their GM completely butchered having the next guy up there, and that all fell apart, and they really haven't been able to build it back since.
Coincidentally, it seemed to align with Vrabel leaving. That's when stuff really started falling off for him, I think.
It did fall off at the end of the Vrabel era. That's why he got fired. But still, I mean, definitely. By the way, the Giants pick is in, and they are not trading as well. Not that we expected them to trade because they have 2 top 10 picks.
It looks like y'all's feeds are ahead of mine. So whenever you say it is when I hear it. It doesn't come up for another few minutes on mine.
Yeah.
For me, I'm
I'm going to a commercial break, I'm pretty sure.
For me, I'm going through the Twitter feed right now and kind of keeping up with what the insiders are saying. Which, by the way, the Kansas City Chiefs has traded with the Cleveland Browns. The Chiefs are moving up to 6.
Damn.
Wow.
Which already in advance, we don't know who the Giants have taken yet, but we do know the Chiefs have already made a trade with the Browns through the 6. And I think that's actually something a lot of Browns fans have wanted. They wanted to move down a little bit, gather some more picks, continue building this roster around Pro Bowl quarterback Shedeur Sanders. No. We promised we wouldn't talk a whole lot about that tonight because I'm pretty sure on ESPN, if you're on the main broadcast at ESPN right now, Mel Kiper's probably already piping about this because of Shedeur Sanders getting into Pro Bowl.
Oh, yeah. No, we shouldn't talk about that. I'll go hours talking about that. I don't want to give him more credit than he already gets.
Gosh, I mean that was all of last year's draft. Mel Kiper spent that whole draft complaining about it.
Well, Mel Kiper, don't get me started on him either. Damn.
that one's even worse. Which, by the way, the Chiefs traded. They swapped Browns down to 9, Chiefs up to 6. Pick number 74 from the Chiefs goes to the Browns and 148. So I think 74, probably 3rd round if I had to guess. 148 is most likely a 5th rounder.
Maybe,
so I'm very interested to see who the Chiefs have in mind here. And I'm assuming they know that the Giants are not taking them.
Yeah, they must have insider information. No, I'm just kidding. That makes me very suspicious of them because it's like they know what the Raiders are doing. They're like, oh, we gotta do something. And,
so I did remember hearing this. I remember hearing this. Basically, what happens as soon as they turn the pick in, all the NFL teams are notified, and they're notified before we're told. Yep. Which is usually why those insiders can tip the picks. Which, by the way, I have noticed that Ari Mirov is not doing that this year, which is quite surprising. Matt with in the comments has jumped in with it. Arvell Reese to the Giants. So not a surprise. I mean, it felt like this was about as far as he was going to drop. Overall, though, for the Giants, Arvell Reese is considered the favorite to go number 2 when this draft kicked off tonight. And now, which, by the way, man, the books must have really fell for lying season there. But that he was the favorite there. Ends up falling to 5 to the Giants. I think there's a lot to be excited about for the Giants. You got one key piece here. Other defensive players are falling at the moment. So you're looking like you're in a pretty good spot there for John Harbaugh and co.
And we
Just
know John Harbaugh likes a strong defense. That's been his staple for the 20 years he was in Baltimore. So I think it lines up, and kind of a steal. Kind of a steal that he dropped that far.
Ari actually refreshed his page, and it already saying who the Chiefs picked.
Mansour Delane, the corner out of LSU, is going to the Chiefs. I'm actually kind of floored that the Chiefs felt like they had to trade up for him. I thought that for sure they could get him at 9, but when they were moving up, I thought they would decide, we're going to get like Caleb Downs or Sonny Styles. No, they're sticking with Mansour Delane, the corner, going earlier than expected. However, I still get a half point in my mock draft because I had him going to the Chiefs. So
nice.
We mentioned before the Chiefs definitely needed a corner. All of their corners are now with the Rams, so this is definitely a key centerpiece for them. This is how they usually do it. Once their corners need to get paid, they usually send them elsewhere, and then draft new guys. Kind of suffer through it for the early part of the year, and then eventually figure down the playoffs.
Well, I hope this pick bites them in the ass. So.
I'm sure you're unbiased when you say that. I mean, that being said, I think all of us have a reason to hope for that. Seeing that, as Bengals and Bills fans on the show, we have been bitten by the Chiefs multiple times.
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
Man, that feed's so far behind. But yeah, no, I refreshed that page. I refreshed that page. I was like, that's already in.
I know how it came in.
We're in like a weird time warp where they're already on pick 10 and we're over here watching, the Chiefs about to pick in 4 minutes. What's going on?
Oh, it says that they were worried about the Commanders picking him. That's why they jumped ahead.
Interesting. Well, now in the Commander's position here, I think this worked out really well for them. I think Caleb Downs might end up going there.
Yeah.
Which is going to annoy me. Which is going to annoy me because I had Caleb Downs, the Commanders, for most of the mock draft process. And, of course, the one that counts, I did not.
Well, here's what I hope, too, is I want Concepcion, whoever he gets picked for, I hope he plays against the the Chiefs, and then, which hopefully is the Raiders, and then just keep burning Delane like he did in college, too. So.
Although, I guess for Delane, the good news is at least Brian Kelly's not his head coach anymore.
Right.
Oh man, we made it to pick 6 while making fun of Brian Kelly. That's a new record. I think maybe because he's out of coaching this year. Kayvon Thibodeau is expected to be a trade candidate now that the Giants have Arvell Reese. It is a good point because how many edge rushers do you need? We said this last year when they drafted Abdul Carter.
Did y'all see? This is off topic, sort of. Did y'all see Bordeaux's video about rebuilding the Raiders, and he eventually had Abdul Carter on the Raiders?
Really?
It was a few years down the line. It was like year 5 or whatever, but yeah.
No, I hadn't seen that, but that is hilarious. He's doing NFL rebuild too.
He just did the one with the Raiders, I think, because he's a big Mendoza fan. So, but he's not the first. He's actually the last now to rebuild the Raiders with Mendoza. I've seen so many rebuilds with Mendoza. It's crazy.
I didn't realize Arvell Reese was 20 years old.
That's it?
Yeah.
Really?
He's must the third youngest picks since 2000.
Wow.
He might have reclassified and graduated high school early like Ryan Williams did.
Yeah. Which, by the way, did you guys know that Ryan Williams is 17 his freshman year? Oh my gosh! Every broadcast. And the funny thing is, after no longer being 17, he has not been. He's struggled ever since.
Mm-hmm. That is true,
Um,
man.
that was a weird. You mentioned time warp before. Like all of a sudden, we had a lot happen there really quick, and right now there's all of a sudden we have crickets around like the Commanders pick.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything either.
I think
Oh,
now that
wait.
I'm thinking more about it, that
Stunny Styles
is that who's
for the Commanders. Yeah, it just came through on Ari's page. Should I be
see
saying
that now.
Ari?
Yeah, Jordan Schultz also broke it. Looks like, but yeah, Sonny Styles, the Commanders, they get themselves one of the blue chip prospects in this draft. They get themselves a top linebacker. I thought they would go Caleb Downs to get themselves a presence in the back end. It looked like the Chiefs were afraid that Mansour Delane was going to go to the Commanders if the Chiefs didn't jump him. But here we are, Sonny Styles going to the Commanders. What do you guys think about the pick?
Good pick, honestly.
Yeah, I think
pick.
it makes sense. They're a pretty defensive-minded group, you know. I think he'll be a good fit. They have a lot of the pieces they need, so bolstering the defense, it's kind of a no-brainer, I think.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that was a good pick for them as well. I do have to mention for a moment here, kind of sidetracking a little bit, but I think the Browns may have made an excellent move here. They traded down. Their biggest need is offensive line, and none of the offensive linemen are off the board yet. I don't know if an offensive lineman is going to go to the Saints. Like the Browns might have the exact same choice. They were looking to make it 6 at 9, and they gathered some extra picks.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong. I do believe there's nothing wrong with if you feel like you shouldn't be making picks where you are. There's nothing wrong with getting more picks, trading that pick away, and getting what you need at a better spot, and you have more picks.
Exactly.
More chances for diamonds in the rough.
Yeah, diamonds in the rough, like Pro Bowl QB Shedeur Sanders.
Exactly.
But yeah, I think that's gonna. I think that's a pretty good move for them. It's kind of weird to say. We're not used to saying the Browns made a good move in the draft, but here we are. And welcome to the 2026 draft. Yeah, so I honestly, I would say that I would say the Browns won that trade.
I think so too. So far, I think they did. They need the width. They need more picks. They need more talent. They don't need one really good person. They need a bunch of pretty good people, you know?
100%. And again, like this draft is not very there's not a ton of blue chip guys. You got a lot of good players, not great players. So why not? Why not do that?
I keep looking over at my wife to see if she's looking at the screen because it's showing the Chiefs pick right now. And I keep looking over to see if she's like, because she likes to curse at the logo when she sees it. So I'm just seeing if she saw it. But she was on her phone. Nice.
There we go. We got a laugh track for the show.
Oh. Do you want to say the next pick? Or
wait, it's pick number 8 in already?
Yeah.
Here we go. This is where we're like 3 picks ahead. All right, who's it? Who is it?
Saints selecting Arizona State wide receiver Jordan Tyson.
Whoa! All right. I did not see that coming. Wow.
No.
Did not see another receiver coming off the board that soon. Caleb Downs still on the board. The Saints getting a top receiver for Tyler Shook. And, well, I mean, they already have Chris Olave, who obviously, I think the scary thing with Chris Olave is that it feels like he could be one concussion away from never playing again, unfortunately. Jordan Tyson is a guy who I like the player a lot. I like when he's on the field. When he's on the field, he is the best receiver in this draft. Just effortlessly fakes defenders and really is just an elite skill set. But the one thing that's very scary about him is the injuries. He has never made it through an entire college season without missing significant time. That is going to be the one big key. But if he's able to figure that out, maybe being in an NFL training situation will help out with that. The Saints can end up with quite the steal here and really give themselves a top franchise receiver. What do you guys think?
I'm also seeing that the Giants were hopeful that he was going to fall to 10, which means people were looking at him in the top 10. I didn't expect that, but it is what it is. But yeah, I agree with you. He can be very good, but he also struggles with injuries, and we'll see how that goes in his playing career.
ACL, hamstring injuries, those aren't, those are career changers. No, maybe not hamstrings, but they lag. They keep coming back.
Yeah, the hamstring last year especially. But again, though, I've been pretty impressed with him. I saw him live in person when Arizona State throttled Colorado last year, and I mean he had to keep coming in and out of the game. But when he was out there, he was still very elusive, still shaking guys. Definitely an impressive receiver, and of course, knowing someone at Colorado, Jordan Tyson started his career there. Heard nothing but good things about him behind the scenes as well. So congratulations to the Saints on that pick.
Still feels like a weird hole for them to fill. I feel like they had other needs. On defense, I thought maybe I thought that was a good landing spot for Caleb Downs. I thought they would go grab him, because their defense is a lot of solid guys. It really doesn't have a true star player. And I think that if they had gotten Caleb Downs, he would have been that. But I'm also never gonna say that grabbing a top receiver is a bad idea either.
Never gonna give you up, never gonna let you down. Sorry, when you said that, it made me think that.
What's his face? Olave. He's kind of had some struggles, so maybe they're looking to find the next one up.
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, he had that one year where he kept having concussion after concussion. And I think that was pretty worrisome there for a little bit. So that's something you definitely have to look out for sure. Like I said earlier, it feels like he is unfortunately one or two more concussions from never playing again.
I just saw this on the ESPN feed. Sonny Styles played safety too. I forgot about that. So that
That's
means
right.
he has the ability to go width, I guess. Yeah. I think Tony worded it earlier. Yeah, he's the ability to go sideline to sideline. So maybe that is a better. Well, no, I already said it was a really good pick. That makes Steve an even better pick.
Get you someone who can do both.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, he's a good enough cover guy to cover those tight ends and pass catching running backs. So
yeah,
I think the Commanders really improved themselves with that pick.
We'll see how their offense is, though.
So we're roughly 8 picks in. Now, Queso, I'll take the Raiders out of the equation because that's probably what you're going to say. What would you say out 2 through 8 so far? What would you say has been the best pick you've seen?
Oh, Sonny Styles for sure, by a long shot. To be honest with you, yeah. It's just he's the only one besides Mendoza where I've said that that's a really good pick. All the other ones I'm like, I mean, I get it, but this one's I'm like for sure this one will work. This one's really good, but I could also be Mel Kiper and just be wrong entirely all the time.
Honestly, I'm still high on what Cleveland did. Their pick by trading it.
And their pick is Spencer Fano, the offensive tackle out of Utah. Great transition, intern. Yeah, Spencer Fano out of Utah goes to the Browns. They trade down and still got their guy. All the offensive tackles are available on the board, and now you have yourself a true cornerstone piece to that offensive line. The Browns a few years ago had a pretty good line, but they progressively have seen it fall apart throughout the years. And, more guys getting old, retiring, going to other teams, all of it. The Browns got their replacement.
Yeah.
I was messing with Tony, sorry.
I know, I saw what you both were doing. That was kind of entertaining.
I was looking at our mock drafts, and then there's too much going on. There's too much going on. Justin nailed. Well, when did they? Never mind. Ignore me.
Yeah, I think I had Fano going there.
So that was the 9th pick?
Yep. So I got both the Chiefs and the Browns picks right, but they just traded and swapped spots.
Nice. That works. I guess I forgot my login for that one I did a mock draft on, because I was be like, yeah, this is what I had, but I can't sign in, so I'm just gonna leave it alone. It was for free money, so I'm just hoping maybe I'll get a hand on some free money. That'd be nice.
Hey, that's always good. The Giants are going to be sticking and picking at number 10.
With them taking Reese, I mean, Caleb Downs is available. I can't imagine they I don't know. Would they go back-to-back defense? I think they want to get Neighbors some help. It'll be interesting.
I know, but yeah, that's going to be because I saw a rumor already that one of the insiders is saying that the Giants are really hoping for Jordan Tyson at 10. And now that he's off the board, I mean, maybe they go with Mekhi Lemon here. Or I think it's Mekhi Lemon or Caleb Downs. At the same time, you hit Caleb Downs and Arvell Reese, you have really enhanced your defense very quickly.
Is it overkill, though, when you have other needs? That's the thing. It is the best. It's the next best available talent, though.
Yeah.
Which is worth mentioning.
Sometimes it is, but at the same time, I'll go with there's a theory out there a lot of NFL coaches live by, and that is that you can usually find ways to scheme and hide a bad offense, but you can't scheme and hide a bad defense. So if you have a tremendous defense like the Giants could potentially have, watch out because they're coming for people.
I was like, wait, Jordan Tyson's on here on that list, but it's because the feed hasn't caught up yet.
Oh my gosh, yeah, the Saints are still the clock on the TV broadcast right now.
Oh, even on your damn, yeah, because it says pick is in, but we all know that pick is in takes another 20 minutes.
That's when they just start walking out on the stage and get to licking their fingers to get into the envelope. Come on, buddy. Speed this up.
Pick 10 just
Oh, my. Yeah, Raj is taking his time announcing this one.
Dude, why did he walk off stage? Bitch, stand up there and read them, you know?
I know, everyone already knows who the ninth pick is. Wait, no, this is the Saints. We're like at 10 right now.
Yeah,
Oh my
10,
gosh.
10 just came through.
Yeah, all right, let me do a sound effect. They go offensive line. Francis Maligoa, the offensive tackle out of Miami, goes to the Giants. We have known that they have needed offensive line for a while, but they also unsuccessfully invested a lot of draft picks and resources in the offensive line. So I don't think a lot of people had this. But, I mean, I think, Tony, you had a point before. They needed to do something to continue to help out Jackson Dart in that offense. And this is one of those picks.
I mean, a good offensive tackle is never a bad choice. They're not flashy. They're not like, you're not excited necessarily. I mean, if you're a real nerd about it, you are. But, like, you know, when there's gaps that you need that are in the, you know, playmaking area, it feels like a letdown. But it's always a wise investment, I think.
Agreed.
Got to protect the quarterback.
Yep. And Scattaboo.
Yeah. Like, that's one thing people forget is you can have the best quarterback, the best running back, but if they don't have time to do what they need to do, which makes them great, they aren't great anymore. And it starts with O-line. Plus, I'm a fat guy. I played O-line.
I'm also a fat guy. I also played O-line, but I'm like 5'8", 5'9" if I'm really stretching it. Sometimes I tell people 6 foot. Buck 65 in high school. Nah, dude. I wasn't no lineman. I was just a body in the hole.
So get this. I played semi-pro football for a hot moment. It wasn't anything crazy. It's one of those pay-to-play leagues, so I had to pay money to play. I will say I didn't officially ever get to play in a game. We can talk about the reason why later. Don't want to get too personal. But let's just say that while I had the size, I didn't have the height. I was the shortest O-line by a long shot. The next guy to my height was 6'2". I'm 6 foot. I'm not short.
No.
It was like 6'2". Matter of fact, one of the tackles used to play at Missouri whenever he played college football. So I just looked small. I even got made fun of because I was the smallest person. And I'm not small, right? So yeah, that was pretty crazy. It's like, wow, just to be even when I played football in junior high and high school, I wasn't the smallest on the line. Well, usually the biggest. So
by the way, there are a lot of people on the internet right now. They are getting frustrated with the pace that the broadcast is going with the draft. Warren Sharp said, it's like the TV producers slept through the meeting where the NFL changed the time between picks to 8 minutes. Absolutely embarrassing display.
Yeah, it's always
these guys are way behind and the draft just started. Absolutely embarrassing display.
Yeah. It's the pageantry. They can't even freaking help themselves. People get annoyed about that.
Like there's a point where it becomes too much, you know? And over here at Updog Sports Talk, we're just we're getting to the picks, getting some analysis, and continuing along.
Yeah, we'll be in bed by 10 o'clock with, you know, you'll still be watching the live feed. We'll be done.
We'll get you to bed earlier tonight.
We're speed running the NFL draft.
Okay, so before we forget, because I know anytime now our next guest will be hopping on, how about you tell the people where to find you?
Any platform you can think of, it will be at Queso Stream. The only one that's slightly different is Twitch. There's an underscore in my name because when I was a part of Team Divine, I changed it, and then when I tried to go back to Queso Stream, someone else with one follower took it and has had it ever since. And the dude doesn't even stream. Well, I mean, hell, I don't stream anymore either. But yeah, so guys will stream everywhere except Twitch. I'm very active on Twitter. Not so active on other platforms though. I've been thinking about getting into some stuff lately, but it's just a matter of finding time. But yeah, I love interacting about video games, football. Hell, I'll even fuck with some baseball people just because it's fun. Uh, so, oh, we got
Awesome.
Texas.
Yeah, we got
guy.
Louis of Garage Game Day Sports here on the show.
How's it going, fellas?
Welcome. We have been looking forward to having you on for a while now.
Yes.
Queso, we'll let you stick on for a moment just because this is going to be fun.
Yeah.
We got a Texas and Texas A&M fan here. So you guys can do some
Hold me back, hold me back.
Yeah, born and raised Texan too, but I'm a Raider fan. But yeah, A&M.
Oh, there's a few of those. There's a few of those down here in South Texas that are Raider fans.
Yeah, we're pretty plentiful.
Awesome. Well, Queso, thank you for joining us. Of course, you're free to join anytime. Thank you for joining.
No problem. Thanks, y'all. Y'all have a good night and enjoy the show.
All right. See you,
Take it
man.
easy.
All right,
Queso.
take care, y'all.
Louis, welcome to the show. We're so glad
How's
to
it going,
have
guys?
you.
Yes, a long time coming. I was watching this show actually in and out since it started. I peeped the hat. I love the hat. I got a UTRGV hat here too. I said, hey, he's got one too. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, let's go Vaqueros. I think that was a pretty cool piece they did today about what an impact it's had on the Valley.
Yeah, big time. From everything I know on ESPN Plus, they aired the game with Southeast Louisiana last week. My son and I caught a couple of innings, and it was packed. I mean, they had about 7,000 there. They're adding to the stadium, I think. So, in this coming season, I think they're going to have some in zone seating. I don't know if it's just students or if it's general public, but yeah, it's booming. There's a lot of buzz coming down from the Valley. It's just a few hours from where I'm at, so I hope to get down there for a game or two this year.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, now they just expanded the seating capacity, so some more seats to hopefully for you to get there.
Yeah, gotta make room for me and the kiddos. So, yeah, I was popping in, and I said I better get in because what y'all were saying, y'all are a pick or two ahead of the broadcast, because I know I was getting kind of mixed signals because I'm using this on my phone. Actually, I was having issues logging into my Twitter ever since I was hacked like a couple months ago. I've been having issues logging into my computer, so I'm not able to access Twitter at the same time. So when y'all were talking about being a pick or two ahead, I said I better jump in because the broadcast, they're taking their time, kind of making sure everybody gets their walkout and signing their cards and doing all this stuff. So I figured I'd hop in, join the party.
Tony even joked licking his fingers, opening the envelope slowly.
Yeah,
all of that.
They're busting,
really
it all
milking
out
it,
tonight.
right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But
you got to get all the commercials they can, right? Advertising and everything, so bills don't pay themselves. So
absolutely, it that's where I was kind of I was realizing that too. I was like, I don't know if you're going to go on the timing of the broadcast or of what the draft looks like at Twitter. So I knew it was time to get Queso on his exit there because the Cowboys just traded number
I know
11.
That's why I was staring at the screen. I'm like, we just traded to 11. Or a spot up. I saw Dallas at 11 and 12 for a second, but I guess it's a trade. With the Dolphins.
So who are you hoping they're grabbing here?
Defense, and more defense. But in terms of a specific player, I know unless I missed, I don't think I missed. Caleb Downs is still available, right? When I logged in, they had a run on O lineman. Sonny Styles has been on the top of my list. I know Delane already went. So I think maybe if you go safety, you go corner. The new DC we got, Parker. He's been able to coach up some elite talent in the secondary. So I'm hoping we go secondary, and then maybe down the road, a pass rusher, maybe a 20. If we still have 20, I don't know how that trade with Miami shook out. But yeah, I'm hoping secondary and defense, because our defense was horrendous last year, especially the pass defense. You know, we were the only team in the league to give up 30 points a game. Pass defense was bad, and I know we had some injuries and stuff. We're getting some dudes back, but that's not going to solve all the problems. So we'll see how the situation with George Pickens shakes out. I know I saw earlier that they're going to franchise him, or that he signed his franchise tag, but I don't know. They could trade him. So I don't know. Wide receiver might be back in play, but I want defense, defense.
Yeah.
Because
I think you nailed it there.
the defense was full of holes last year. It was crazy.
Absolutely, and I think you nailed it there, Caleb Downs. Like you guys might be getting a steal right now if that ends up being
I hope
pick.
so. I mocked him at 12 to Caleb Downs, and I was kind of like, well, maybe he's not going to be there. And then when the Chiefs moved up, I said, well, somebody's trading, somebody likes, something. And then we kind of had some uncertainty after Mendoza. We had some of the picks, the kind of the way they fell. So I was getting my hopes up about Downs. So I'm hoping that's where they go.
Are you ready?
I'm probably behind. Oh.
Caleb Downs is your guy.
Yes. I am a happy camper. Caleb Downs, yes. Oh, man. Yeah, the dude is a stud. I'm surprised he was still there at 12. I mocked him at 12, but I was very skeptical, if it was more of a pipe dream that was going to happen. And I know safety's not typically like a sexy pick. People aren't really running to safeties. So in the back of my mind, I thought, well, people got other needs. He might just slip and fall right in our lap. So we had to move up to 11. But, I don't imagine we gave up a ton to move up one spot. So, yeah, I am happy. We'll see. I haven't seen. Dolphins get 177 and 180. Okay, so those are the late 6th-round picks, I think. So I'm a happy camper. That defense, yeah, we were needing some help. We've had guys banged up. Siobhan Revel, who I was a big fan of at East Carolina, banged up. Overshone hasn't stayed healthy. We drafted Ezeraku, who didn't really produce a ton last year. So, yeah, I'm hoping with Downs we hit the jackpot here. So, and in some instances, go ahead.
I was going to say that's an A+ pick from my perspective. I think that you got your secondary, your top leader now. Really, this is like you said, this is your dream. This is literally the dream scenario for the Cowboys. They only gave up some late round picks to get in there. Siobhan Revel, I think he's going to be a long-term, really good player. Was coming off a torn ACL last year, so kind of a slow start up there. Yeah, I think that's a really good move for you guys. Continue. I think so too.
And like I said, it might improve twofold, threefold with some of these guys, with Ravel and Overshone. If they get healthy, and they end up panning out and injuries aren't a concern, maybe we pick up, where they left off. So in terms of that, it could be like we added some guys since they missed a chunk of the last couple of years. Yeah, I am a happy camper. I am one happy Cowboys fan right now, as I'm sure a lot of people are. So, yeah, that defense just it needs some work, and I know we're not done yet. Linebacker, edge rush. We'll see how it shakes out at 20 with Mezzador's there. Maybe we trade back and grab a linebacker, later in the first round or something. But it's a really good start.
Yeah, it's kind of a no-brainer for him to fall that low, to fill the need and be as versatile as he is.
Yeah, because it accomplished two things. We drafted for need, and we got, I think, the best player available, and that just happened to be the same player at the right time. So, really worked for the Cowboys. I am surprised, though, a little surprised that we didn't draft an offensive lineman named Tyler, because we like those. I think 60% of our offensive line are named Tyler. So, job's not done. We might grab one later on and grab an O lineman named Tyler. So, or a defensive lineman with a name Lawrence, Malachi Lawrence, maybe.
That is true. Yeah, by the way, we have made a lot of jokes about the Tyler trend of the Cowboys, which is, if they're going to draft an offensive lineman, it has to be named Tyler.
Yeah. Yeah, that's prerequisite. It's in the contract.
Yep.
Tyler. Maybe your middle name's Tyler. Maybe your nickname's Tyler. Something to kind of widen the net there.
I'm glad somebody else besides us knows the Tyler trend.
Yeah, I noticed that right away. Was it Tyler Guyton, Tyler Booker, and then I forgot the other. Oh, we had Tyler Biotis for a while, for a bit. So yeah, it was just Tyler's up and down the board, and I don't know if we added Malachi Lawrence or another Lawrence, we could have another thing going on the defensive side. So.
Yeah, Malachi Lawrence has been a guy who's low key been kind of rising up the board here the last couple of days. So I'm very interested to see if we see him go tonight.
Yeah, me too. UCF, right? I think so.
Yeah,
UCF.
Yeah, a former Knight. I almost said Golden Knight, and we would have gotten trashed by UCF
we would have been raked
fans.
over the coals. Yeah, but it's a Golden. You kind of do go there. Yeah, I almost said it too. It was like Knight's a Golden. It I guess rolls off the tongue, or it's easy to get confused the two. But yeah, that's a good pick for the Cowboys. So yeah, linebacker, corner, maybe O-line, maybe wide receivers in play for the rest of the draft. So yeah, Caleb. It's like Christmas in what are we? April. It's been busy at work. I don't think what month it was, but yeah, that was a big one.
Yeah, that's massive. Things have been kind of coming quick and fast here so far. We haven't really gotten to introduce our audience to you a whole lot yet because we had to jump straight to the Cowboys. So what got you into your Twitter account and podcasting in general?
Like most things, COVID. I think in the end of 2020, I got bored at home. I think it was like late 2020, maybe Christmas time or something. Started a Facebook page. Just started throwing random stuff, posts, what I thought about, football and stuff like that. Didn't get a ton of traction because I really wasn't consistent with it. I just kind of posted my thoughts and then forgot about it a while and was like, oh yeah, I have this page. Let me post, So didn't really build a ton of a following until like a couple years ago. Then I got, really invested in Twitter, now X, and Facebook. TikTok, lost my account, had to start again from scratch. So up to a few hundred followers, but yeah, my son likes to shoot stuff occasionally. You might see him if y'all are on TikTok too or on Facebook. Him and I used to do weekly picks, college football picks. We would pick like the top 5 games and then one wildcard game, whatever game he wanted to pick from like the G5 or any other game that caught his interest. So we started doing that, and then it turned into being on Twitter. I'm doing the college football team predictions that y'all and I have talked a lot. Over the last, 6 months, a year, maybe more than that. So it's cool that we actually get to have a face-to-face interaction now. But yeah, just a mix of all that, kind of staying more consistent with the posting, wanting to get back into the podcast game. I hopped on a couple podcasts last year, but just with time, with the kiddos and stuff, it's been hard to kind of set a schedule. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Just gotten more consistent with it and share my thoughts about sports, including my son. So him and I get to bond over sports because his sports knowledge like dwarfs mine at that age. He's 8, by the way. His sports knowledge is like miles ahead of where I was at the time. He can tell you like FCS logos, what conference they're in. He can tell you fight songs. Like he goes way above and beyond what I could. So it's a cool bonding experience. And with my daughter, she's like 3 or 4. She kind of knows some sports logos, stuff like that. So kind of bringing her into the fold too. And if she's interested, maybe she'll hop on later. And if not, then my son and I will keep it going.
That's really awesome. I love that it's a family affair too. Definitely a really cool way to bond there. And yeah, I mean, I think it's good to like raise your kids to love college sports and really just like love it from the top to the bottom too. From the smallest programs to the biggest ones. Definitely a really cool thing.
Sure. And again, like nights like this, the NFL draft, where it's, whereas NFL fans might be like, oh, this guy seems cool. It's like, yeah, we've been watching him for a couple of years now, grinding it out, whether in FCS, they moved up to FBS or, now with a transfer portal, just flinging guys around everywhere. It's hard to keep track. But yeah, seeing all these guys for a couple of years and, him and I can talk sports, and just talk about players and teams and stuff. So it's pretty cool.
Dolphins.
Yeah, that's
pick
really
is
awesome.
in.
Who could they be taking?
Am I ahead of you guys? Or no? I see the pick now, but for spoilers, I don't know if y'all seen it yet.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead and spoil it.
Oh, Caden Proctor from Alabama at 12.
Oh,
They
nice.
traded
Okay,
back.
so they were thinking off. That's another half point for me. I had that. Yes.
Oh, you had Proctor? You mocked him?
Yep.
Nice.
We doing half points now?
Yeah, if you got the right team, wrong position, because we didn't do trades in our
the
mock.
trade. Yeah, it's so
Yeah.
hard. Like when I do mock drafts, I'm like, I can't bother with trades because then it's like, well, I don't know the calculations, and if it, just spews out stuff, and I'm like, I'll just go straight and straight picks. But
Yeah, that's the way we do it too, and yeah, we basically have formatted it that way from the start, so we're always going to do no trades. But yeah, I think this is a huge pick for them. This was they managed to get themselves a top offensive lineman. They desperately needed this for years. Now, of course, poor Tua no longer with the team anymore. When they finally get one,
he's like, where was this when I was a quarterback?
Yeah.
This would have been nice. Gonna have raging headaches now for the next few years, but I'm glad y'all got an offensive lineman.
Yeah,
that's a big
other
pick for the
host,
Dolphins. What's that?
Our other host Matt just popped in the chat saying that he thinks the Rams took Ty Simpson, which would be an absolute shocker.
Yeah, I had him at 21 to Pittsburgh, and even I thought that was well. And then I remember the drafts in Pittsburgh. They might boo him out of the building if that happened. That would be wild. I mean, I guess a succession plan for Stafford, but that's a bit high in my opinion.
For 1 year sample size.
Yeah, 1 year sample size. Man,
that doesn't feel like a Rams pick. Like
it doesn't.
I thought they would go with someone that would help them win a Super Bowl now and say, screw it, we don't care what the future is after Stafford retires. We're going to win the Super Bowl now.
Yeah, like a wide receiver, O-line, something like that, on the D-line, something to help them, like you said, and figure it out when Stafford retires, or maybe address it next year when, you've got Arch and, maybe Dante Moore and several other quarterbacks, maybe you figure it out then. But, yeah, I'm going in this blind because I don't have Twitter up or anything like that. I'm on my phone. So, yeah, if you find me just staring blankly, my TV's not in front of my phone. The setup it is, I'm like, yeah, I eventually need to anchor up a TV up here, so I'm not doing this. But, yeah, that got my attention when you said the Rams might be getting Simpson.
Yeah, that is official, by the way. They did select Ty Simpson.
Oh, okay, it is. Okay. Wow.
Yeesh.
If I'm being honest, guys, I think this is my least favorite pick of the draft so far.
Yeah, I think so. Like you said, sample size, and I felt. Did they feel like the Jets or Pittsburgh or somebody, that they jumped so early?
I don't think that they had to. They were talking about him going day 2.
Yeah, because.
Yeah.
Because
way high.
Yeah, I'm glancing at all the teams coming up. Like, nobody needs a quarterback outside of the Jets and the Steelers. But, I mean, I don't think even they were going to jump at it. Maybe I could see if they had, a team that trades back into the end of the first round to get the 5th year, right? Is the 5th year guaranteed year on the contract. I've seen teams do that and snag a quarterback at 30, 31, something like that to get the 5th year. But 13? That is bonkers.
Yeah, that is wild. And again, the picks I end up not liking are the ones where I'm confused what your plan is. And for the Rams, I thought their plan was, we're going for a Super Bowl now. Through the future, let's win this thing now. Now they're kind of in the middle a little bit.
Yeah. I don't quite get that. That is a head scratcher, and I'm sure that'll be one of the talking points once they get, people start giving out grades. Who are the winners and losers of the draft? That one could very well get an incomplete because we may not even see Simpson on the field for a year or two. So You know, you can't give him a good grade, but then you can't really fail him either because you don't know what Simpson's going to bring. But I don't know. Yeah, I don't know about that pick.
So I'm watching Pat McAfee's broadcast right now, and I can tell they don't want to leak the pick, but they brought Dan Orlovsky on the stage, even though the Rams have not announced it yet. It seems like they know.
Oh yeah, right. Let's bring a quarterback on the broadcast, right? Just randomly bring a quarterback when the Rams are picking. Kind of telegraphing that a little bit.
Randomly bring Dan Orlovsky, the guy who was far higher in Ty Simpson than anyone else. Let's bring him on the stage right now.
Yeah, that's not telegraphing anything, right? Wow. Yeah, that's. I mean, there's been a couple of shocker, you know, early on, like Will Bailey over Reese, and then Love going third, and Carnell Tate going early. But I think this one's the biggest, by far the biggest shocker so far.
100%. I agree with you. I think this one's by far the biggest surprise.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So like in general, like of the picks that have gone on so far through 13, which one other than the Cowboys? I'll take the Cowboys out of the equation.
Oh, man.
I know you might be a little biased.
Might be a little biased, right? Yeah.
Which one's your favorite so far?
I like Mendoza, and it's, you know, the kind of the dichotomy of Mendoza, good guy, kind of nerdy, wholesome guy, you know, going to the Raiders where they're in Vegas, and you have, you know, all this stuff going on. And Kirk Cousins, of all people, is going to kind of be his, you know, his mentor and all this. So that brings another element to it. I do like that move, and I know it's going to take some time, though, you know, with the West, the way it is, you know, the Wild West, the Mahomes coming back, the Broncos with how good they did, and you can't really write off the Chargers just yet. I don't know if I had to pick one. I'm kind of glancing down because everything's been kind of happening so fast. I would say Arvell Reese dropped. He went to the Giants, right, at 5.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Arvell Reese sliding down. I think he was going to be there at 5. If I'm the Giants, I'm thrilled with that pick, and he's going to be terrorizing, you know, my team for several years to come. So I think that's a big pick for the Giants. It filled a need. Got one of the best defensive players at 5 that didn't have to move or anything, and he just fell to them. So that's a big move for the Giants. You know, if I'm looking at it not as a Cowboys fan, of course, it's going to piss me off because he's going to be in Dak Prescott's face twice a year and making our life hell. But from a non-biased perspective, that's a big move for the Giants.
Yeah, absolutely. Very, very torn first round, I feel like, for the Giants fans so far, because they made that great pick. I think their pick at 10 in a vacuum is not bad, but they could have used Caleb Downs, and now they just let him go to the Cowboys. That might be
so it's almost kind of like a double negative. Like, not only did you not get him, you let him go to a division rival. So, of course, no complaints here. But, yeah, from the other side, you know, you're probably scratching your head. Like, you let him go and he goes to the Cowboys, really? So, but they addressed two needs on both sides of the ball. So, the Giants having a good draft so far.
Yeah, I would absolutely agree with that. So I see that you're a Texas fan. Kind of tell us about how you became a Texas fan.
I guess kind of born into it. I've just always been a big homer. If you can't tell, the UTRGV cap here and the A&M Kingsville cap back here and the Cowboys and the Longhorns. You know, I'm a big homer. Astros. I follow the Star in the NHL playoffs and that sort of thing. So no weirdness for me as far as, like, you know, you can kind of tell where I'm from. But always been a Texas Longhorn fan, you know, in, you know, the Vince Young days, the national championship. I had a bunch of buddies over. I think I guess I was in high school when that, you know, the championship game happened over USC, to the Colt McCoy days, to, you know, coming all the way up and just watching the Longhorns. I've been to a couple of games. They got their ass kicked in both games that I went to, so it's probably not a good thing that, or it's probably a good thing that I haven't been since. But yeah, just a big Longhorn fan. I love the experience when I went over there, though, the tailgates and the atmosphere, and, you know, I'd love to go back. So yeah, just been a Longhorn fan, a Cowboys fan, pretty much my whole life, and passed it on, to my kids. They cheer for the Longhorns and the Cowboys, but my daughter, for some reason, during not during the playoffs, during the regular season, took a liking to the Bears. Now maybe it's easier to pronounce than Cowboys. She goes Bears, so she was saying Bears. Yay, Bears! And I'm like, who's your favorite team? Who's your favorite team? The Bears. So I'm like, oh, okay, I can't win them all.
Yeah.
But so yeah, not everybody's a big homer like me. She deviated from the rest of us.
Yeah, absolutely. So big time Texan guy. It seems like that's pretty awesome though. When you grow up around that, obviously, like that fandom, I think that's what makes college football special. Really, just like it breeds from the start. I know around here, obviously in Ohio, we have a lot of Ohio State fans.
Boo.
And then we have our intern is a Michigan fan. And obviously,
that goes over well, I'm sure.
Dude, it's hard being a Michigan fan in Ohio. All my life.
Oh man, you brave soul.
Brutal, dude. Especially on that, 10-year run of just misery, dude. Oh my god.
Oh yeah. Man.
Justin's a good sport about it though. He doesn't rub it in my face. One time we did watch a game together and I was like, we're not doing this again. Michigan got waxed and I'm like,
nope.
He's being polite about it. I can't see your smug ass face.
This was the one where this was the year that Ohio State did not play good defense, and they had just come off like that double overtime win over Maryland where they nearly lost to Maryland. I think like if the quarterback didn't miss the pass, like Maryland would have beaten them. And I thought for sure that was going to be the year that Michigan was going to beat them. Tony thought for sure it was going to be that way too. He wined and dined us, was so excited for the game, and then the moment it kicked off, it went so bad from the start.
Oh, now maybe that was the shot across the bow. Maybe that was the worst thing that could have happened. They got their guard up the week before, and then they were ready to go against Michigan. I've seen that, happen a lot, where you think it's going to get upset. They have a near miss the week before, and now all of a sudden no upset's happening because their guard's up.
Yeah, 100%. Like we see that happen pretty often. So another question for you here, kind of like, because you tend to follow we'll make this a two-parter here. First of all, what makes you passionate about sports, specifically college football?
I just love, my main reason years ago, before everybody started getting paid, or at least started getting paid over the table, not under the table, was their love for the sport, just representing your family, your community, your university, your brothers, in the locker room, when most of those guys weren't going to be in the NFL. And, that's still the case where, the majority of them are going to go to the NFL, but they're, still playing their hearts out, balling out, trying to be seen, trying to be noticed. I've always just loved college football, the atmosphere, whether it's D2, FCS, FBS, bowl games, playoff games, regular season games, week 0 games, I treat every week, kind of the same in terms of like, hey, it's college football, let's lock in. I just love the atmosphere, the electricity from, all the traditions from, tomahawk, Florida State's chop to Iowa's Kinnick wave and like jump around, which I've told kids about with Wisconsin to so a bunch of cool stuff that happens in college football that, to an outsider, you might scratch your head like, I don't see any connection between this song and this team, or, why do they say War Eagle for the Auburn Tigers? But, like stuff like that, it just clicks, and that's what makes college football college football.
Yeah, and I love the variety. Like you can get a cool, unique experience anywhere, really. I know I've gotten to like sample at least like 15 different home environments at this point, and all of them have been really cool, like one way or another, because again, like they're all just so unique. Now, obviously, I know you don't just talk college football. You're kind of similar. Also, you spread like a wider net. What other sports do you usually talk about?
Outside college football, NFL, NBA, kind of more into the playoffs, because we're kind of in the trenches with college football. So like the beginning of NBA kind of gets forgotten about until, maybe after the All-Star break or Christmas. I kind of consider Christmas as like a almost loose start. I jump in when college football's kind of at the tail end and all we've got is like bowl games and playoff games and stuff. Then I'll start kind of locking in. I'm a Spurs fan, big surprise because it's in Texas. Of course he is. Yeah, NBA, college basketball. My son and I love March Madness. We draw a big wall bracket. I don't know if I posted it this year. That we draw. It's one of those like dry erase. So we'll draw out the whole bracket as we go. Then as April passes, we'll erase it and write half NBA, half NHL, and follow the playoffs on our giant wall bracket. So yeah, it's mostly college football, but like we'll talk NFL, NBA. I'm big into wrestling. I don't know. Depending how people view wrestling, it's kind of in the, is it sport? Is it not sports? Or I've always been a huge fan. So like I lock in Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, stuff like that, Money in the Bank. So some of the gimmick stuff they do, my son and I really enjoy watching it. So yeah, like you said, we cast a wide net across different sports. We lock in pretty much to college football and NFL, but dip our feet into several other stuff.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah. I know for us over here, like we do the same thing. Our intern, even he's bringing some soccer talk to the show.
little MLS action there.
Oh, nice. I don't know if I guess you can't see it in frame. I've got my USA scarf because I'm ready for the World Cup. Let's see.
Man,
The guy gave me one of them slick jerseys. The jerseys that came out are nice.
Yes.
I love the striped jersey, but I don't like the big white patch in the back. Like that was a total fumble. Like, because they left it to where you can put in your own number, but if you want to order it blank, they don't just fill it in with the stripe. Like it's left with the big white square, and I'm like, why'd they do that?
That's
like everything else was perfect, and then they went and did that. So I might end up grabbing the stars one, which isn't bad at all either.
Yeah.
This is actually one of the better combos they've done.
Yeah,
the better kits they've done in a long time.
Yeah, I was talking with my buddy who, obviously, being in Cincinnati, big FC Cincinnati fan, and we were watching the game yesterday, but I don't know how the U.S. men's national team is going to do, to be honest. I think they should absolutely make it out of the group stage. If they don't, there might be people might be going to jail because there's in no world should they ever not make it out of the group stage. Yeah, I don't know. Everything looks so promising. And then, we're dropping friendlies. I don't know.
Yeah. So I haven't, I've been following like the results. I haven't really been watching all the games, but and like Turkey's a tough draw. When they came out of the playoff, I'm like, man, I didn't want to see them win the group, but I knew it was probably going to happen, or the playoff to get in our group. So yeah, especially the year where it's, expanding to 48, that would be the one you would hate to not get out of the group stage, and it being on home soil, even worse. So
yeah,
yeah, that would be a total disappointment if that happened.
The only thing, watching the broadcast of the NFL draft, did you watch the name draws for the World Cup?
Some of it. It was during the day, right?
Yeah, it was during the day.
I think I may have caught part of it on my lunch break or something like that, just a little bit.
The pageantry.
Didn't they draw it out like
level. Yes.
Yeah, they drew it out like, oh my God, they made us this big old outrageous thing when they could have wrapped that puppy up in like 15 minutes.
Yes.
Probably.
It might have been 4 or 5 hours. And I'm like, jeez. They had a concert in the middle. I'm like, it was the Village People. I'm like, this is too much.
Yeah, it's like, come on, guys, put them in a hat. Let's draw. Let's be done with it. Come on, let's get on with the analysis. But yeah, I remember that they dragged that on forever. I feel like I got out of work and it was still going on.
Yeah. Yep.
I got out of the afternoon and I'm like, they're still not done. Yeah, I remember that.
Oh my gosh,
that was wild.
I'm trying to convert Justin into being a soccer fan, and I was like, "Oh, you should check this out. This is wild." And then I was like, Probably for the best that he didn't. He'd be like, if this is how it is, I don't want any part of this.
It's like
All
90
I
minutes
know
of
is-
where are the goals, right? I don't watch a 90-minute 0-0 draw.
all I know is you did get me to a game on Saturday. This thing better not end with a tie. I have been
Yeah.
cursed.
I've
I have
invested
been
too much
cursed. Like
time. I need a winner.
the last I would say at least like 5 or 6 soccer games I've been to have all ended in a tie.
Oh my goodness.
I don't even think I've seen a winner ever in any soccer game I've been to.
I think it's him that's cursed. To be
I was
honest.
gonna say that it might be a Justin problem.
It might be. I do agree. I do think it is. So make sure if you're into sports betting, definitely bet FC Cincinnati to tie on Saturday with whoever they're playing.
Give me a heads up whenever you go. We're putting money down on the draw.
Catching up on the draft here for a moment, the Ravens take Oliverga Aoni, I think is how it's pronounced, the guard out of Penn State. And I actually did not realize, because things have been going so quick here, I did not realize that Ruben Bain was still on the board.
I just saw that. I turned around too, and I was like, Ruben Bain, the Buccaneers. Wow. I think I had another edge rusher, maybe Falk, to him, because I sure didn't think Ruben Bain was still going to be there at 15.
Absolutely.
And I know the whole short arm thing, maybe that's contributed, but he's a dog. He's got talent, and when you have talent, you're only gonna fall so far. And some of it may be that, and some of it may just be they like other guys or they have other position needs. So it's not really there's always gonna be a guy or two that falls kind of out of their control. It's just like everybody else needs other stuff. So somebody usually pays for it, but it's not really their doing.
Yeah, and I think really the weird trend I'm noticing in this draft is we're really seeing a lot of these edge rushers falling. We normally see them rise up the board, go higher than the mock draft projections. This time we're seeing the edge rushers fall, which is kind of shocking to me. I think he's only like the second or third one off the board right now?
Because Bailey went
He's second.
Second, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Bailey went. So yeah, he's the third one off the board.
Yeah, and
Bailey, Reese.
Yeah, those guys are still on the board. Wow. Well, the Jets. I was curious to see who the Jets. Well, they haven't showed who they're picking. I just saw the Jets name 16. Curious who they get, because if there's a lot of teams with multiple picks. There's 6 teams with 2 picks in the first round. So some guys, some teams can do some wheeling and dealing here. Either draft or stock up on picks.
Yeah, Queso actually just popped in the chat. He leaked the name. Kenyon Sadiq going to the Jets is the pick there.
Okay. Giving them a weapon.
So yeah, giving a weapon to Geno Smith Part 2.
Yeah, that's right. I went blank. I was like, I think it's Geno. Yeah, that's right. Giving him a weapon.
I mean, that worked so poorly the first time. I cannot believe we're going to see that again.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what their plan is.
That feels
or maybe tank for next year. I don't know. They might just be mailing it in for this year and try and snag an Arch Manning or somebody in next year's draft.
Yeah.
Who knows?
But that's gonna be the big question. Is there's not a lot of positives right now for Eric Glenn or their GM. I mean.
No, that's bold of them thinking Aaron Glenn will even be there next year.
Yeah, if they stink again, are they even get that third year? That's going to be the question, especially with no plan at the moment.
Yeah, so I don't know. They're flying by the seat of their pants, I think. But we'll see how that turns out. But Sadiq, that's a nice weapon. I think I had him to the Ravens, because I know the Ravens love their tight ends, and I'm like, well, if the Ravens want to shake things up, give Lamar another weapon. He tends to hit this. He loves his tight ends. Maybe they would do that. But that's a good pickup for the Jets. Give Geno another weapon. Give him something to work with over there in the Big Apple.
100%. And not to say the Ravens pick. I like the Ravens getting a guard in there. I think we kind of saw their offensive line fall off a little bit. They definitely needed him. So I think that's a good pick for them. I really like the Buccaneers pick because the defense is really their shortfalling last year, and now they have their guy. They have a guy on defense.
They have a guy who can contribute right away, and we've seen with the NFC South, that division seems to always be up for grabs. You know, no one's going to run away with it with 12 or 13 wins. It's always going to be a dogfight, you know, and 9-8 or 10-7 is going to win you that division. So that could easily tip the scales.
Yeah, exactly. And this draft is actually flying by. Like the first few picks, it felt like the ESPN broadcast was like really far behind. They were moving too slow. And now
are they kind of like adjusting on the fly, right? It seems like it's going by faster. Like I jumped on and we were on pick 9?
Yeah.
Yeah, they shortened the gap between.
So we're pretty much halfway because we're 16 in.
I know. We might be going to bed by 11 Eastern tonight.
Yeah. Wow, this is terrific.
Yeah. So we got a question in the chat. I think you would definitely be positioned to answer this. So Dallas needs defense. Who do you realistically think they can get at 20, especially looking at the board right now?
Looking at the board, and I'm trying to pull it up because I'm like trying to remember on the fly because since we're talking, I'm missing some of the picks. I had a key Mesidor, edge rusher going to them. We need pass rush. Now maybe if he comes off the board in the next 3 picks or so, maybe we trade down. I don't know, maybe grab some more ammunition and maybe try and get like a Zion Young or Malachi Lawrence, further down in the first, maybe early second, because after 20, we don't pick again until 92. That's late third round. So there's a lot of empty space there in between those 2 picks. So I don't know if Mesidor doesn't work out or maybe we shore up at corner or linebacker. If we don't get the guy we want, maybe trading down is a possibility and, gather some draft picks, maybe 1 or 2 in between to kind of fill in some more holes on that defense.
Yeah, I definitely think trading down would be a good option too. I did not realize that about the pick 92. I really didn't know much of the draft order beyond round 1. But yeah, like that would be something that could be very helpful. And I think at this point, you're looking at the board, you're seeing these edge rushers kind of falling a little bit. That's not a bad position to be in. Like I think you could potentially trade down and still have a lot of good options.
Yeah, I think so too. With some of those guys we mentioned, that are still going to be available, and then also with that trade up to from 12 to 11, we shipped out a couple of 6-round picks. So I know they're day 3 picks, but still 2 less picks that we have. So maybe they're going to try and get some of that back if they do trade down, or maybe Mesidor is there, or someone else that they like is there. So I'm curious to see what we do at 20. Because of that big gap until 92. Yeah, that's the first thing I noticed. I was like, I'm loving these, first round picks, and then I'm like, whoa, we don't pick for a while. So
yeah,
I got some needs. So I won't be opposed to that.
Yeah, absolutely. Now it feels like things are slowing down. I think Matt popped in the chat. He said the Lions took Blake Miller at 17, which reminds me. I know that means our next guest is going to be coming on here in a moment. We had a Lions fan coming on, but obviously we'll have you on. Bobby Wilson's the TNT podcast. I'm sure you've interacted with him.
He's a lot of times.
Our group.
Okay.
We'll probably even have you guys on together here for a few minutes. But yeah, they take Blake Miller, offensive tackle out of Clemson at 17. I think that's a really good move. The Lions need offensive line help. Blake Miller is probably one of the most reliable guys I've heard of. Like, he missed 1 practice his entire college career. That's impressive.
Yeah, I had not heard of that. That is some lore right there. Iron Man. The best ability is availability, right?
Dan Campbell was licking his chops when he heard that. He's like, "That's our guy, dude."
Oh,
That's
he could.
our
I
guy.
bet. Yeah, if they had let him, he would have run to the podium himself, I bet.
Yeah.
Knowing all the that guy down every day, I'm sure he was going to sprint to the podium to give that pick.
Yeah, I bet we're going to see it right now. Like, obviously, the broadcast is behind us a little bit, so any moment now you'll see Dan Campbell sprinting up there.
Dan, get to the back. Come on, we're cutting live. We're going live. Get out of the picture.
Maybe if he Kool-Aid mans through one of the walls, they'll be able to get to the picks quicker. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, there we go. Make a shortcut. That would be outstanding. That would be a cool visual.
Do it for the people.
Dan Campbell just, pancaking a wall. I'd pay to see that.
So one more question I'll ask you here.
Sure.
Obviously you're doing the college football predictions right now. Treating out the schedule and like what can we pick there? What other content are you working on this off season?
Doing the posts on Twitter or on X. On TikTok, I started going conference by conference with those team predictions. So I'll probably start rolling them out on X. Building off the post and then giving my prediction. Once I kind of hone in on what I think is a record, I've been kind of going like floor ceiling. Once I kind of get the schedules, and get the math working and stuff. Start putting out videos on team by team prediction, all 138. I did them all last year when there was 136. Now we added 2 newbies this year. So, definitely planning on doing that. Had to start early because if I'm going one day at a time, it's going to take us pretty much all the way to August. And just going conference by conference. That way it's kind of easier to follow. And just giving my thoughts on that, posting on Facebook, TikTok, on X. On Insta, I'm kind of on there, kind of not too consistent on there, but hopefully I'll start churning out content, probably some of the same stuff on there. That way to kind of reach out to a new audience. Anybody who's on that's not on the others can follow along. So yeah, a lot of college stuff, other stuff sprinkled in between, probably World Cup, NBA playoffs, stuff like that, but primarily college football.
Nice. That is awesome. Definitely love talking college football with you on there. Like us, you love covering everyone. Especially even covering like teams from the G6 and FCS. Like, it's always a lot of fun to talk ball with you.
Yeah, same here. I know we've been doing it for a long time, and there's other accounts that I talk ball with too. So it's really cool actually getting to talk with you guys, kind of face to face or at least virtually, but talking ball with you guys, talking shop. So it's really cool to expand the community and get to know, start getting to know everybody, that way when college football season's in full swing, we can, do more of this, more often.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, I think, we'll have to have you on again later on this off season too.
Yeah, definitely. I'm down, whenever, whatever team or conference or anything that, just shoot me a comment or DM or something, and I'll carve out some time and we'll talk ball.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll go ahead and give you the floor to plug your socials. You can go ahead and stay on until I announce that our next guest is joined. But yeah, go ahead and tell the people where they can find you.
Cool. Yeah. Garage Game Day Sports on X, on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. Trying to get the YouTube back up and running. Haven't really done podcasting in a while, but times like this, I get fired up again. Get that itch to start doing stuff. But you can find me, almost any channel. Garage Game Day Sports. Quick search, you'll see the logo, and there you go. And ready to talk shop. Yeah.
Yeah, I like the off season can be a really fun time. Especially if you're following us. Like, obviously you look at the mainstream networks, they repeat the same topics over and over again. But I know, like, for our community, like, the off season's a blast. All of us kind of look at the entire sport, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, because there's a lot of content. I'm trying to do, like top 10 graphics, top 10 like G6 games, or teams that I think will improve this year, that will regress, stuff like that, that I'll be posting across the socials. But it keeps the conversation going. It turns out, you turn out content, you create discussion, whether it's a specific team, a conference, a player, a coach, things of that sort. There's always plenty to talk about in the off season. It makes the off season go by faster.
Absolutely, 100%. So what? Maybe if you're even willing to divulge a couple, like what is one team you're kind of high on right now? One team that you're maybe not so much
in the college ranks.
Yeah, the college ranks. Spoil it. We got some of your followers in the comments also asking you to spoil it.
Not so high on. It's probably a cop out, but I'm gonna say North Texas. just because the team, got gutted by Oklahoma State. We can call them the University of Oklahoma, University of Oklahoma State of Denton, or the other way around, because of all the influx of talent that went to Stillwater, or University of North Texas at Stillwater, I guess. Losing Eric Morris, losing, Drew Mestemaker, Caleb Hawkins, Wyatt Young, like they just got absolutely gutted. And, on the other side, I look for the Cowboys to maybe not necessarily compete for the Big 12, but I think a bowl game is very much a possibility. Everybody's kind of packed in. It seems like Texas Tech and maybe to an extent a BYU or Utah kind of pulled away from the pack. But in terms of everybody else, there's kind of a log jam in the Big 12. So I think OK State could definitely make some noise, find themselves back into a bowl game, and be that fun team that you used to watch a few years ago.
Absolutely, and I'm looking forward to it. And that's the thing. That's the thing I'm kind of interested too, because I feel like this offseason, I've noticed that kind of notion that it feels like we have a little bit of separation in the Big 12. We have Texas Tech, BYU, Utah, Houston kind of separating themselves as like a top 4 right now.
Yeah.
But this is the Big 12. This is not their nature. So I'm very interested to see how that turns out. And if like Oklahoma State ends up being that team that surprises people. I mean, Texas Tech, I will say that team is a wagon, but maybe Oklahoma State's a team that surprises people and ends up against them in the Big 12 championship.
Yeah. I mean, offense, there's no shortage of chemistry with, most of those guys played together last year. So it's not going to really be an issue. It's just going to be a matter of, playing American teams to now playing Big 12 teams, whether that translates or not. And we saw flashes of Mestemaker, I think, played, where did he play? Florida State for some reason, I was thinking. Did he play somewhere else? Or am I thinking of somebody else with a long last name? Maybe I got to be
because Mestemaker, he was a walk-on at North Texas.
Okay, I'm thinking of someone else than at Florida State. But all these guys that were at North Texas, it's not going to be a shortage of chemistry. That offense is going to be high flying, and while games are in the Big 12, there's not really going to be that. We're going to lose 45-0. At least on the surface, everybody's kind of packed in. So if coin flip games work their way, like you said, they could easily find themselves 6, 7, 8, 9 wins. Maybe an appearance in the Big 12 title game. So I'm looking for big things from the Cowboys, from my Cowboys and those Cowboys.
One last pick to talk about here, and as we get Bobby Wilson on the show, the Vikings just took Caleb Banks, defensive tackle out of Florida. That one, I don't know about your mock, Louis, and Bobby just joined. I did not have Caleb Banks in the first round at all.
I don't think I did either. Yeah, I don't think I did either. That one's a surprise. I thought maybe the Vikings were going to go, secondary or something like that. Is Dylan Thinneman still there, right?
Yeah, he's still there.
Corner, so I think I had him either at Minnesota or at Carolina. I think they both need secondary or safety help. I couldn't remember which one, but wow, that's that's a out of the box pick.
Yeah, I had McNeil Warren going there again, another safety. That's what I thought they were going to go with.
Yeah,
very interesting.
Huh.
But yeah, we also welcome Bobby Wilson of the TNT College Football Podcast on the show. Detroit Lions fan. Obviously you two have interacted on socials before, so you get to see each other face to face. That's a little bit of a cool moment there.
Good to meet you, man.
Good to meet you too.
But yeah, so we'll give Bobby a chance to kind of break down his thoughts on the Lions pick. And Louis, if you want to stick around and ask him some questions, you can go ahead and do that.
Oh, okay. Actually, I think my kids got to head out to bed. I could hear them yelling. I think they're getting kind of feral.
Uh-oh. All right. Yeah, you better take care of that.
So I'll have to dip. But this was awesome talking ball with you guys. Awesome meeting you, Bobby. I know we talk a lot in the social. So anytime, any place, I'll hop on. And if I get the podcast fired up again, I'll certainly do the same with y'all.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you for joining us.
You got it. Y'all take care.
You too.
You too. See ya. Oh, that was awesome. I love having new guests on the show each year for the draft. Like, I think Bobby, even like the first time we had you on was during one of the draft shows. It's just a lot of fun. So, Bobby, Lions, they take Blake Miller, offensive tackle, out of Clemson. What are your thoughts on the pick?
Well, you might have been able to hear me screaming from where you guys are at. I'm thrilled with this pick because this young man fits everything that the Lions are. He is the grittiest player you'll find, and everybody knows that the Lions' mantra is grit. This guy started basically every game, or he did start every game at Clemson. I mean, this is a young man who you could say he's probably the safest pick because you know what you're getting, and you know what he's going to be from day one. He's a right tackle, so what does that mean? Panay Sewell is now going to be the left tackle, which is probably his more natural position. Let's be honest. Which he's the best right tackle in the NFL. Can you only imagine what he's going to be at left tackle?
Yeah, absolutely.
This could be special.
Yeah, I think we're seeing that identity kind of return. I think one of the things that led to the Lions missing the playoffs last year is just the fact that we saw the offensive line kind of drop below that usual level that we're used to seeing. Like they had the best offensive line in the NFL for a couple of years. That kind of dropped off a little bit. Now, I think this is a very encouraging pick.
Absolutely. It's, of course, a step in the right direction. I really think that we did what we needed to do here. I'm very, very excited. I know some Lions fans might be like, hey, he might not be like, I know Monroe Freeling is a guy who might be projected higher and such, but like Blake Miller is exactly what he is. He's going to be that every single day. And I'll take a guy like that any day of the week.
Yeah, I think he's an excellent fit. I mean, really, again, like you said, like everything about him just seems to fit that culture. We have a couple picks that came through here. We have Monroe Freeling, offensive tackle that you just mentioned out of Georgia. He ends up going to the Carolina Panthers.
Good
Philadelphia Eagles trade up and grab Mekhi Lemon out of USC. Bobby, I'll let you take the floor first. Yeah, so they could trade AJ Brown. So, Bobby, I'll let you take the floor there. What are your thoughts on both those picks?
Well, I think anywhere Freeling goes, I think he's just he's such a solid player. I know he doesn't have as much starts as some of these other guys have, but like he's just so solid with everything that he does, and like you could sit there and say like, yeah, he doesn't have the like in-game starting experience. But every day in practice, he's going up against NFL draft picks on the defensive line at Georgia throughout his time there. So he's ready. Then Mekhi Lemon going to Philly. I mean, I think we all know the A.J. Brown trade's coming, so you can kind of see this being the move. I'm maybe a little surprised that they traded up to get him. Maybe they thought Pittsburgh was looking at him. That has to be the thought there. But, hey, good for them. I mean, you get a guy who's extremely talented, fits everything that you want from a wide receiver perspective. I think he had a really good last year there at USC, and you can only imagine what he's going to be able to do in the NFL with the space that's going to be provided there.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just an extremely talented player. I wondered if like his interviews would kind of drop him a little bit. Which I think falling to 20, that seems to be the case. But I mean, everything on the field with him is exactly what you want.
Oh, 100%. I mean, honestly, I mean, what didn't he do this year as a college receiver? I mean, he was unbelievable. There were some really good receivers this year, too. I mean, I cover one of them on a weekly, daily basis with UConn, and Lemon was doing everything and more. I mean, so this is a guy that Philly fans should be very happy with this pick. Let's just say that.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with that. That kind of gets me to another question I want to ask you, which is, I think you kind of hinted at a sleeper prospect. Go over like a couple other sleeper players that you really like in this draft. Obviously, mention the one that you kind of hinted at, but beyond that, give a list of a couple of them you really like.
Well, I'm biased, but I'm going to say Skylar Bell. This is a young man who was top 2 in the country in receptions, yards, and touchdowns. and people are going to be like, "Oh, he played at UConn, blah blah blah." And trust me, I've heard everything. It is what like people could say what they want, but this young man was the focal point of every scouting report while he was at UConn, and he still dominated at every level as a receiver. I think that he has qualities of. I think his route running, that he's an elite route runner. It reminds me a lot of Amon-Ra St. Brown from the perspective of elite route running. I think he plays a lot like Stephon Diggs because he has that. He's a smaller-ish receiver, but he uses his body extremely well, creates separation, does a great job with that. I also love McNeil, the safety from Toledo. I know he's projected to be a first-round pick. I thought that he might go to Minnesota. That Minnesota's pick was very surprising to me. I know you guys were talking about that when I came on, but I thought he or Thieneman would be the guy there. But I'm a big fan of his. There's a lot of other guys I could talk about, but those are the first two that come to mind.
Yeah, McNeil Warren is definitely one of my favorites too. I actually, in my final mock, I did have him mocked to the Vikings. So we'll see if position ends up dropping him out of the first round or not. That'll kind of be kind of interesting to see. I know Chris Johnson, the corner out of San Diego State, he's another player I really like. We're kind of seeing corners drop a little bit, but I think he very well could be the next corner to come off the board.
Certainly possible. McCoy from Tennessee, I think, is a guy that is unbelievably talented, but you got the injury history. If that young man was healthy, he'd be a top 10 pick for sure.
Absolutely.
But again, there's a lot of, I don't want to say baggage, but there's a lot of potential baggage. Let's just say.
Yeah, and I think teams got worried when he didn't run at the combine. I think that was definitely was a red flag.
Absolutely, 100%. I mean, especially you're a cornerback, like the 40 is one of the things they're looking at, obviously.
Yeah, 100%. Pittsburgh Steelers are about to pick right now. I'm sure if I got on Twitter, I'd be able to see what it is. But, just conversation is taking us to the pace of the broadcast here. But I also think it's because the broadcast has kind of picked up their pace a little bit. We got ahead of it there for a little bit just because it was moving so slow for the early picks. And they finally sped up a little bit. But let's see here. Although a lot of theatrics right now because this draft is in Pittsburgh.
Right. I always think it's just funny. Like they put time between these picks. Obviously, like the number one pick, it's like just everybody knows who it is. Like let's just name it. We don't need to go through 8 minutes and 10 minutes, whatever it ends up being. Like just tell us Fernando Mendoza's the pick and let's keep it moving.
Have him pop up onto the stage. Like
yes.
That Gangnam Style guy, just boom, there he is, done deal.
We know what's happening. Let's get it over.
Everyone knows. 0% chance of anything different.
Yeah, we've known pretty much since the season ended that dude was going number one overall.
Deservedly so.
Man, how much more time do we have to waste before this pick gets announced? I don't want to move on to a different topic before the pick gets announced so we can just talk about this pick and then I can ask you another question.
Too much pageantry.
Yeah. This one's taking 10 minutes to announce. I'm sure if we looked on Twitter right now, we'd probably already see who the 22nd pick is.
Shit, it might be back to Dallas.
That's right. Dallas is the one that's traded down. We were talking about that possibility with Louis earlier that the Cowboys didn't pick again until 92. Trading down was very optimal because they need an edge rusher, but there's a lot of edge rushers on the board. So it's been hard to keep up because this draft is going so fast. But yeah, Dallas is the one that traded down there. And I think that's a good move for the Cowboys.
Good pick for Pittsburgh.
Yeah, got themselves an offensive lineman. I think Pittsburgh football, you're used to those big, mean offensive linemen, and we've kind of seen them get away from that in recent years. They that was the guy they needed, and obviously a player that hasn't played a lot of football, but a tremendous upside. What are your thoughts on the pick, Bobby?
The upside is through the roof. It's this young man hasn't been playing football for very long at all. His story is unbelievable too. I would love for people to like read up on it and hear about it. This young man has been. It's really cool to see what he's become here, and he's going to an organization obviously that's going to help him grow. I mean, Pittsburgh is one of those marquee franchises in the NFL. I'm sure they're not going to rush him through anything. They're going to do things the right way. At least historically, they have. So I have to imagine that they'll do the same. And if Max is going to go somewhere to develop, this is probably the perfect place for him to go and get developed.
Agreed completely. I'm sure the intern may not like that so much, being a Bengals fan that he is, but which by the way, I do have to remind people again, this is the Idaho State Bengals, not the Cincinnati Bengals.
I looked at that. I'm like, wait, okay, never mind.
Kind of a weird way to spell Cincinnati, Justin.
Oh man, good stuff. So Bobby, I know you obviously always have a lot of awesome content throughout the off season. What is some interesting content you're currently working on right now?
Well, currently I've been trying to do more quick little daily shows. I've been calling them TNT Dailies. My podcast, the TNT College Football Podcast. I haven't been doing them every day this week because one, allergy season here in the spring has been kind of kicking my butt, and I've been real nasally. But at the same time, too, like I work in an elementary school, and it's the end of the year, and things are pretty crazy at the end of the year. So I'm pushing through that, getting through that, because I try to do it when I have a break, but breaks have been few and far between this week. So, but at the end of the day, like it's the off season, which for me means it's almost preview season, which that's probably what a lot of people know me for, is for my previews that I do in the off season. I preview every FBS team. There's two more this year, with North Dakota State and Sacramento State. So now there's 138 teams that I'm going to be previewing. It's going to be a task. It always is, but it's a labor of love. And I seriously say that. I love doing it. It's my favorite thing that I get to do, or that I do, I should say, is these previews, because it leads me all the way up to the season, and then once the season hits, it goes so quick. Those I usually start at the beginning of June. We'll see. I haven't set the time frame yet, but everybody can look for those coming before we know it.
Yeah, that's I personally always enjoy that series as well. I think it's really cool, and I mean it's so much fun to do as someone else who does a lot of previews. I do mine kind of a little bit of a different style than yours, which is obviously fantastic for the community. I think I love that we all we touch on each team, but we all give different angles. I think that's fantastic. It's just so much fun, like when you talk about a team that doesn't get the coverage they usually deserve, how excited the fans get.
Right.
That excitement is it's really my favorite part of the offseason.
Exactly. I mean, you do these, and like obviously you break down the SEC teams and the Big Ten teams and all that, but it's guaranteed that you're going to get more love from the teams from Conference USA and the Sun Belt and the MAC, and I love that. I really do, because those fan bases are just thoroughly excited to see somebody like us covering their team. And like you said, we all go about it in a different way. I'm a former coach, so I analyze it probably a little bit differently than some people do. I go pretty deep into like positional guys by position and such, which maybe the way I do it isn't for some people, and that's okay. Just like I know some people don't like the way Phil Steele does it, how analytical he gets. It's not for everybody. That's why there's so many avenues that people can digest the information. And like you said, there's places for all of us, and I try to stress that for everybody. Like I have a pretty sizable platform, and I praise God for that, for providing that to me. Um, but at the same time, I always tell anybody and everybody like there is a spot and a niche for every single person. If you want to do what we do, there's an opportunity for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I think if you follow like a lot of the people in our community, you're winning. I think our community can deliver something that is there. There's plenty of room for everyone to contribute, and I think you end up getting more engaging, more entertaining content than you do from the larger media networks these days.
I agree, and I think that I think social media has helped create that. I think that's one of the good things about social media. There's a lot of bad things. It
Yes.
certainly, it is what it is. But there's so much good that we can do that we're able to provide because we don't have this isn't our job, so we don't. Which, if it was my job, I'd be so happy and thrilled. But it's not my job. It's not what pays the bills. So I can cover things the way I want to cover them, where I don't have somebody telling me this is how you have to do it. This is how we want it. So I can do it the way that I like it, or the way that I think fits the base of people that I'm covering the best. And I think that works really well.
Yeah, I would agree. From someone on the outside looking in, I think it works really well too. Yeah, definitely. I appreciate what you do, and I think a lot of people do.
Well, thank you.
It's really
Thank
cool.
you.
And hopefully one day, I'm stepping into this realm this year. Maybe one day I can convince you. I'm trying to step in and do some FCS ones this year. So it's
I'm
definitely
in
an
ISU.
undertaking.
I'm in Illinois State's backyard. So I mean, I became a part of an FCS top 25 this past year, and I watched more FCS football than I ever have this year because of being a voting member. Um, Obviously, I can't watch every game. I'm one person, and I'll stress that too. I'm one guy. I do all this stuff by myself. Like I have for my UConn show, I have Pete Callen, who a former UConn Husky defensive back. We do that together. We're co-hosts and we work together with that. With all my other stuff, it's just me. So I'm like I said, I'm just one guy. I watch as many games as I can, and I travel to different games pretty frequently too. So it's like I'm trying to do the best I can with watching everything and being wherever I may be that weekend. But you do the best you can. That's all you can do.
Yeah, 100%. We have a pick off the board, Akeem Mesidor to the Chargers. I believe that's another one from my mock draft. I think I got that one.
I don't know. We'll look. We'll check the tape here.
Check.
Yeah. All right. Let's have the intern look at that. While you, Bobby, what are your thoughts on Mesidor to the Chargers?
I mean, you know what you're getting for sure. I mean, this is a guy that's been there, done that. He's a ready plug and play player. I mean, he's ready to go right now. A little bit older. He's like I said, he's just been around the block. You're getting a guy who can play right now, and I think that's what the Chargers need. Realistically, this is a team that's close to being. I think they're close to being a contender. We can say if they're healthy. That's a big thing for them.
Yeah.
If they're healthy, yes, if they're healthy, they're close. That's the big thing.
Yeah,
But
100%.
that's true too. The Harbaugh effect.
I can
Yeah.
confirm Justin nailed this one.
Yep, and 100%. Actually, Bobby said a lot of what I said in the mock draft show for this one. I felt like the Chargers needed that whoever drafted Mesidor had to be a team that is ready to contend now, and the Chargers perfectly fit that mold. They're a team that, again, like you said, if healthy, they can absolutely compete with anyone. last year, just awful luck. I mean, what was that, like 2, 3, 4 offensive linemen lost for the year due to injury? Like, you can't win with that. But if the Chargers can never get some luck, which, I mean, I know this. I know the three of us in this show right now, we're all fans of cursed franchises, but the Chargers is definitely another one of those.
Yeah.
Yes.
Dallas.
Sorry, I'm looking at the Cowboys pick.
Yeah, I think Louis will be happy with that.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's going to be. Oh wait, was this Lawrence? Like we said,
Malachi Lawrence.
There it is. Like Louis said, he foretold it earlier in the show. Cowboys keeping up that Lawrence trend on defense.
I think this is a typical Cowboys pick. And what I mean by that is this is a guy who's produced at the college level and done well, but they're drafting a lot on potential here, I believe. And the Cowboys tend to do that. And I don't mean that in a negative way. I really don't. But he's taking a step up. I mean, all these guys obviously are taking a step up from college to the pros, but I think there's even more of a step, and I don't mean that as like a slight to UCF. It's just his production was good where he was at. Can it be projected now into the NFL as a Dallas Cowboy with we know the media frenzy that organization gets? I think he's a fantastic player. I really do. But I think there's a lot still left for him to prove. His motor is amazing, though. I'm a big fan of his.
Yeah. I feel like that's something else that the Cowboys tend to look for. They tend to look for a guy with a really high motor. We'll see. I think they're kind of really hoping they can replicate the Marcus Lawrence pick that they did a few years ago. Again, with that Cowboys Lawrence trend on defense. But yeah, it definitely was an interesting pick. He went higher than some edge rushers that people had in the first round. After edge rushers kind of fell a little bit throughout this first round, but now we're seeing a few of them flying off the board here.
There's one edge rusher that I pray the Detroit Lions get in the second round, but I don't think he's going to be there at 50. I think we would have to trade up. And that's Gabe Yakis from Illinois. This is a young man. He's in my backyard here. I've seen him play up close in person 4 times. I was at his very first game in college. And I was on the field and I'm watching. I'm like, okay, this kid's a freshman, but he looks unbelievably gifted in warm-ups. And I'm like, who is this kid? I'm going down the roster. I'm like, okay, Gabe, how do you pronounce his last name? Because we didn't really know who he was at that point. But then as the game went on, you're like, holy crap, this kid is special. And he was a freshman All-American, and then he just keeps developing. And quite frankly, at the beginning, he wasn't a good rush defender. And he grew into a pretty darn good rush defender by his senior year. And by his senior year at Illinois, he was a complete player. Like I said, I know he hasn't come off the board yet, but that's who I really, really want the Detroit Lions to get in the second round if I had my way.
Hey, I mean, it's always possible. Speaking into existence a little bit. When we had Louis on earlier, he talked about speaking Caleb Downs into existence, and that happened. So, Could be the same case for your Lions. Which, by the way, mentioning attending games, this question kind of pops in my mind. When you look at the schedule so far in advance, are there any games you're kind of eyeing so far potentially?
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, I live in Central Illinois. Of course, I cover UConn. UConn plays at Miami, Ohio. That's by far the closest they'll be to me this year. So that game's definitely on my radar, and I can almost confirm that I will be at that game. I know that's right where you guys' backyard too. So
I think Justin's trying to court you, dude.
Man,
he's trying to seduce you to come.
No, Bobby's trying to seduce me to stay home. That weekend, dude, that weekend is something else. Like that is one of the most incredible weekends of MAC football I've seen in a long
It
time.
is. It really is.
Western Michigan hosts Boise State. Bowling Green hosts South Florida.
Yep.
Toledo hosting San Diego State. Like
Yep.
that is an awesome mix of games. And I don't know which one to go to at this point.
Does Akron host UNLV that weekend too?
Akron hosts UNLV as well.
That's insane.
That's the third time that UNLV has come to Ohio in history, and one of the other times is just last year.
Oh wow!
Which, by the way, myself and the intern were there for that one. UNLV at Miami last year.
And like
Absolutely
a trader,
wild.
he got a pick with the coach in his Miami gear.
Yeah, well, we went to go like take like a group photo out there, and all of a sudden like Dan Mullen was walking by, and I was not going to go and not say hi to Dan Mullen. I mean, he was right there.
Of course, you have to.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Like we got to chat. He was like, I thought he was on his way to another media engagement, and he was cool to like sit and chat for a few minutes and stuff.
That's awesome.
A former athlete of my wife, Elias Rudolph, he is a edge rusher on UNLV, and we got to talk to him about Elias a little bit. He kind of said like he was like we're growing him a little bit, and it was kind of cool to like get that insight. And of course, I was like, I'm happy he landed with you, and Elias stuck with UNLV. He's going to be there again this year.
There's worse places you could be.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Dan Mullen is going to have that program rolling pretty well in the Mountain West now.
I agree. Absolutely. I mean, you have a guy who's definitely a fantastic leader.
Yeah. The next pick here, the Browns take KC Concepcion out of Texas A&M. That one, they get themselves a top receiver now.
Yep.
I like the moves the Browns are making in this draft, and I feel like that's crazy.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be this guy, but you almost feel bad for KC Concepcion because now he's going to the Browns.
That does gotta stick a little bit, just somewhere in his mind he's like, "Damn it."
In all seriousness, though, he's a good player. Yes. But in all seriousness, though, he is a good player. I mean, he's just crazy fast, great hands, catches everything. I mean, they're showing a clip now where he's returning punts. I mean, they can have him do that. They can have him do a little bit of. I mean, he can do a little bit of everything.
Right.
This is a guy.
I mean,
he fills multiple needs.
Yeah. I mean, you have a guy who is fast and can make life easier for Pro Bowl quarterback Shedeur Sanders. Why? He's a Pro Bowler. Why is everyone laughing? Oh, that's so funny. But by the way, that Queso in the comments there was saying that too. But overall, though, I think the Browns are making some good moves in this draft. We'll see how it pans out long term, but overall tonight, I've liked what they've done so far.
They're playing it smart.
They are, which is shocking.
Yeah, very unlike them.
Yes, but I agree. They have done well. I agree. I mean, obviously, it has to play out, but they filled significant needs.
Yeah, absolutely. Like they gave their offense a lot of what they needed here early on. Obviously, got to finish it strong. I think they have a pick early in the second round. To try to continue to fill some holes. But yeah, I really like what they've done so far.
Agree. The Bears are up next. So this is the cringy pick for me because I live in Illinois. My wife is a Bears fan. I'm obviously a diehard Lions fan. I'm from Michigan, but I've lived in Illinois now for the majority of my life, unfortunately. But, so now obviously have to deal with a lot of Bears fans, and so this pick obviously is intriguing to me
Matt,
in more
Justin,
ways
and
than
I
one.
all said in our mocks it was going to be Caden McDonald.
I can
Yeah.
see that.
So you heard it
Yeah.
first here.
Yeah.
That's what we had here. We have another guest in here. We'll go ahead and keep you on, Bobby. We have the host of the Sidelines NFL account, Dylan Hartley. He is in here now. Obviously, you run the Sidelines account. I did not realize you were a fellow Bills fan, though. That is pretty awesome. I love that.
I am. I am. Yes, I'm a Bills fan. My family grew up Bills fans, so my grandpa and everything like that. So kind of hopped on with them.
Yeah. I have a very similar story where, I didn't really grow up in an NFL city, but my dad was a longtime Bills fan. He's from Buffalo. That side of the family's from Buffalo, and that's how I ended up being a Bills fan.
I see you got the Bengals shirt on though. What's going on there? Oh, it's Idaho State. I see you.
Idaho State.
All right.
See, we're all confused.
Yeah, I was watching on the stream too, and I saw the Idaho, or I saw the Bengals. So I didn't even read the Idaho State part. So
I play tricks on people.
you go to school out there?
No, I've just always been a fan of them for some reason.
Gotcha.
I went to Pocatello, Idaho, like on a trip when I was younger, and
Gotcha.
that area has just always had a profound impact on me. So, and obviously, naturally, got a root for the college team there, and that's what we're about here. We love talking about all those different random college teams. So
Yeah. Well, I went to school at Eastern Oregon University. It's a little NAIA school out there. So I've been to Pocatello a couple times too. So
very cool.
Yeah.
Man, Eastern Oregon, that's a good one.
Yeah. It's NAIA school, little town of like 15,000 people in the valley, east side of Oregon, about 2 hours from Boise, 4 hours from Portland. So no one would find it unless you were really looking for it.
Oh, we got a comment in the chat as well. The Pacific Northwest is beautiful. Hashtag Go Grizz. Dylan Tiedemann. Mentioning Oregon, Dylan Tiedemann, the safety out of Oregon, goes to the Bears.
Nice.
He goes to a different NFC North team.
Yeah. So I'll pass it around the table here. Bobby, I'll have you go first, and then Dylan, you can go after Bobby. What are your thoughts on the pick?
Well, I'm gonna hop off after this, but I obviously you see Dylan play, and obviously the thing that jumps off, obviously, speed. I mean, this young man can fly, and he can play the position well because he plays it at a university where they've done a very, very good job producing defensive backs. So you've seen him do it at a high level. I think we all have kind of thought that he was going to be a first round pick, or we kind of knew this was going to happen. We thought he was going to go a little earlier, obviously, but still it ends up in the same division, though, that we probably all were projecting him to.
Yeah, exactly. I think this is going to be a huge one for the Bears. Defense is definitely one of the things that they need to continue to improve upon, and I think they nailed it with that pick. Bobby, since you said you were going to jump off, I'll go ahead and give you the opportunity to plug your socials before you depart.
Well, thanks, guys. Thanks for having me, as always. Everybody give a follow on Twitter X at TNT College Foot 1. Again, like I said earlier, those college football previews will be coming before we know it. So everybody have a good night. God bless you guys. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for joining. As always, it's a pleasure.
See you guys.
See ya.
Yeah.
All right, Dylan. I'll give you the floor now. What are your thoughts on the Bears pick?
Oh, I like Tiedemann. He played the nickel pretty well too. Good tackler, quick. But I think he had a couple good interceptions, about 8 in his career. I think I was looking at him as one of the better safeties in the draft as well. I also thought he would go earlier to around the Panthers pick. Maybe maybe go to the Cowboys if Caleb Downs got taken by the Giants. So he did fall a little bit further than I thought, but overall, I mean, I think he's going to be pretty good addition to that Bears defense.
Yeah, pretty good value pick. And by the way, it does appear the Texans are on the clock, which means we will have to wait a couple more picks for our Buffalo Bills to draft.
I think the Bills traded out of the first round. It looks like based off of unless they didn't update it on ESPN. I got the little tracker going, but I didn't
they
see.
trade
I
out?
saw.
Oh, I think you're right. I
Yeah,
think you're right.
no, it says Bills. I just saw Bills got 28 on here though. So on the
Okay.
bottom of the Schefter alert. So I don't think it's updated correctly on ESPN.
Okay. It's just taking a moment to. Oh, okay. We got some chaos here. Texans traded from 28 to 26 for the Bills, and then the Dolphins have now also traded with the 49ers. The Dolphins are up to 27, 49ers down to 30. So we got a lot of action here popping off here late in the draft.
I'm also seeing Houston's 26 and 28 again now. So Bills might have moved out of the first round.
Do you if they moved out of the first round, like there had to have been a player involved.
I didn't see the Schefter update on what they got.
Oh
Here,
no, Ian Rappaport now. It does look like the Bills got 28. So the Bills
Okay.
are going to be at the clock at 28.
Nice.
They pick up pick number 69. Nice.
Nice.
And then 168. They also gave 91 to the Texans. So it looks like the Bills moved up into what I think is the second round as a result of this trade down. So I think that's pretty good. I'm happy with that.
Yeah, and I still hope they can pick up a receiver here. That's what I've been looking forward to, like maybe Omar Cooper or Boston. So
Yeah, man, Casey Concepcion was my guy. He was the
Right.
one I was hoping for because like we have never really seen Josh Allen have a true game-breaking speed threat like that.
Yeah.
That would have been cool to see. Like we've seen him have like the taller receivers like Denzel Boston, but
Yeah.
man, that would have been pretty cool to see him do.
Well, that's KC's who I originally wanted, but he obviously is gone. So, what they got left, I wouldn't mind. I mean, I really enjoyed Omar Cooper, the back shoulder throws that Mendoza was throwing in the playoff and everything to him, and I'd like to see him too. So,
Yeah. Wow. I did not have him in the first round, but Keelan Rutledge, offensive lineman out of Georgia Tech, he's the one that goes to the Texans. I mean, that is a very obvious reason. The Houston Texans have so badly needed offensive line help. Keelan Rutledge is a massive human being.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good move. You're giving CJ Stroud some protection. What are your thoughts, Dylan?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't see this. I didn't see this happen either. I do know they needed some offensive line help, but Rutledge, he is a big human. I think he fares better well in the run game. But they need some offensive line help, and there he is. So
Was it worth jumping for though?
for two
That's
picks,
the question.
I don't think so. Yeah.
No.
That's how I'm kind of looking at. I think you could have got him at 28.
Yeah,
They were
I
getting
know.
antsy.
Like I said, I did not have him in the first round myself. That's nothing against Dylan Rutledge, but it felt like because of his position, he was going to fall into the second round. So I don't know if the need was there to do that. As a Bills fan, I'm fine with it because someone that was not on the Bills board is off the board, and they moved down 2 picks and picked up some picks for it.
And they traded before the Dolphins traded too. But I wonder who the Dolphins going to trade up to get, because I mean that's I don't know if they panicked because of that, but
Yeah,
I don't know.
Maybe
They heard that maybe they heard the Dolphins were trading up, so maybe they just panicked and went a couple spots up.
Yeah, but the Dolphins went line earlier. I'm not sure they're going to go there again. they need corner help, and there's a lot of corners on the board right now.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what they're looking at.
Yeah, maybe
So we did.
McCoy. But go ahead.
Yeah, McCoy could be the option. I was going to say we didn't really get to introduce you a whole lot.
That's fine.
You run the Sidelines NFL account. Kind of walk us through how you ended up doing that and what really got you into it.
Yeah, about a couple of years ago, probably 2-3 years ago, I kind of wanted to throw a little something on my resume. I actually looked at a couple, like I looked at the Muse. I looked at one other one, but I messaged them all. And Sidelines, I think it was actually a Jaguars account that I messaged first. Because I just popped up on my feed and I was like, hey man, like, are you guys taking anybody? And we went through a list of teams and they're like, actually, we need the NFL. And I was like, shit, I love the NFL, so I'll cover everything. I have to be unbiased. So actually, I think this is the first time coming out that I'm a Bills fan, but I love it. I do want to do a little more with it. I started off just kind of throwing out highlights of every NFL game, putting on the touchdown scores, the big plays. Like I was drafting posting all the draft picks tonight and everything. I do want to get more involved with it. I just haven't really had the time. I just had my second kid as well, so
Congratulations.
Thank you. I do want to kind of evolve it a little bit. The main Sidelines account has been awesome. If you have a chance, go follow them. It's kind of like I don't know, kind of like when old school Barstool started up, where you had Barstool everything. The Sidelines is doing the same thing. They have Sidelines for almost every team, which we do have some opening spots. We just got a Titans guy in. He's been awesome. He's been tweeting like crazy. The Cowboys guy's super active. They kind of go in and out. So, I would love to have 32 active Sidelines accounts to, talk their team, talk their ball, and it'd be a cool environment. A lot of college in it. They have hockey teams, they have baseball teams, and everything like that. So, but just kind of got into the game, seeing all that, and I started exploring Sidelines more when I got in there, and I've stuck with it. So.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool group, and I first learned of Sidelines from all the college accounts they have. It's always great because like you have a huge variety of them too, from really top to bottom. Like I'm wearing the Idaho State shirt. There's a Sidelines Idaho State account. So it's really great to get to talk ball with those accounts and really just talk about all the teams.
They're passionate
I think it's
about
pretty
it too.
cool.
They're passionate about their teams. They're very passionate about their teams. So it's fun watching some of these. Like you'll see some of these guys, like you said, the Idaho State, talking about what's going on over there in the world that I probably never would see unless I got into Sidelines. So it is very cool. So worth taking a look for anybody wanting to talk, see ball talked about some. Anywhere in that realm, they do a good job.
Yeah, absolutely. So we find out who the Dolphins trade up for. Chris Johnson, the corner out of San Diego State. He is a guy that I have been really high on. Really a player that we don't get to see enough of in college football these days. Spent all 4 years at San Diego State. Even when he didn't start right away, stuck with it, trusted the process, and continued to grow. And then even when he was great, did not chase the bag and go elsewhere and take a risk with that. No, he stayed with the program, continued to get better, and now he is a first-round pick. It really goes to show, you do not have to transfer. The NFL will find you. What are your thoughts on the pick?
Yeah, I mean, very, very quick too. I believe he ran like a 4.40. I was looking forward to him going to Seattle because I thought McCoy would go ahead of him. He did have a couple of pick sixes last year too, so he has that ability to make a big play after the interception. So I do like it. I thought he'd be a first rounder. I thought it would be. I thought he would have gone to Seattle. So. That's good. Also, the Bills also just traded to the Patriots. So I already saw that.
I do believe y'all gonna have to wait.
We are.
We did a deal with the devil here. What's going on? Interesting. I think whoever the Bills like is still on the board, and they're like, we can keep moving down at this point.
They might have a couple
I enjoy
options.
picking up picks, but I never like trading with a division rival. That's always a little bit scary.
We've seen it a couple times tonight too. We've seen the Cowboys and the Eagles trade. We've seen
Yeah,
the but maybe they see each other so much they're just used to talking to each other.
Yeah.
right.
Frenemies.
Which by the way, of course, Mike Vrabel probably involved in the trade. He needed to step away, get some counseling. So urgent that it had to be on Sunday, but also had to be around for the first 3 picks still. Very wild situation there.
And their picks already in too. Caleb Lomu, the offensive tackle at Utah.
Ooh, man. We let him get that. Oh, he's a steal at this point. I didn't.
Yeah.
Again, like this draft show, we're doing the show. We don't really see the board as we go, and I did not realize he was still on the board. That is a really good pick for them.
And I think they made that jump to get in front of San Francisco, because I believe on some of the mock drafts that's who San Francisco was planning to get to was Lomu. So.
Yeah, absolutely. We're kind of seeing some offensive linemen dropping, some rising. It's not really going as we expected it there.
Yeah, no, it's kind of going. I thought the best offensive tackle. Proctor and the dude out of Georgia, Freeling, and Proctor went. He was the 3rd offensive tackle taken, and Freeling wasn't taken until the late first or mid to late first round, 19.
Yeah.
So. It's kind of been and there's been a lot of offensive tackles taken this first round. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is 6th, 7th 6 or 7, 6, 7 offensive tackles.
Yeah, I think people are wondering if it was going to be if we were going to get up to 8 of them
in the first.
Which, yeah.
Because that's what I was thinking too. It was a very, very heavy offensive tackle, and then I heard receivers. I thought they were going to be more receivers in the first round too, but unless they come late here, receivers are starting to fall as well.
We might see another one, but when I was doing my mock draft, I did project receivers to fall. I feel like it's usually a fun position to mock, but usually they tend to drop in the actual draft. Now, obviously, we didn't see that with Carnell Tate. He went pretty early. That's where I thought we would see a run of them, but so far only 3 off the board. That will be kind of interesting to see how it unfolds here the rest of the way. Chiefs are on the clock right now. That's always a team that could draft a receiver.
Yeah. They. What's his name? He stepped up this year, coming back off the suspension. Rashee Rice. But I think they could benefit from a bigger body out there as well. This could be Boston here.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. So since you run the whole NFL account so far, of all the picks, which one is your favorite pick so far in this draft?
Ooh, my favorite pick. I think it's early for a running back, man, but I did love that that Arizona stuck with it and went with Jeremiah Love. Dude's a game changer. I thought they would trade back. I think they could have traded back a couple more picks and still got him, and maybe got a little more value out of it as well. But Jeremiah Love, I do love it. It's back when Barkley kind of came with the Giants and kind of came in, and that early pick, just the ability that he has to, I think, change the game. It gives a little spunk to the Cardinals, a little juice to the Cardinals. I do like that. And then also I liked what the Cowboys did, moving up to 11, Caleb Downs. I thought Caleb Downs probably should have went 5 to New York. They went with Arvell Reese, and they're beefing up that outside linebacker spot. But they had another stab at him at 10, didn't get him, and they jumped in and got him at 11. So I really like that move up right there, because I think Caleb Downs is a dog. So I think those are two of my favorite picks so far.
Yeah, I think those have been. We liked the Cardinals pick. We love the Caleb Downs pick. So far that one has been my favorite of the first round as well. Just perfectly fills a need. gives a team that really lacked help on the defensive side a true blue chip prospect. I mean, really at 11, like you can't do it any better than that.
Yeah. Because I mean, I thought this guy's gonna be a top 5 pick, and then dropping down to 11, and projected to go to your division rival, and you get you get him, and again steal. I think that's a steal at 11.
Yeah, absolutely.
What did you think about the Rams trading up for
See,
Ty Simpson?
I don't I don't think Tyson. I mean, I think you could traded back to late first round and got that.
We've been
I'm
scratching our heads ever since.
and I get why they're doing it. You're getting a successor. You're going to give him some time under Matt Stafford. It's like an Aaron Rodgers with and Jordan Love situation. But are we all in on Ty Simpson? Like, I mean, next year's a
And
quarterback draft as well. But that's a head scratcher coming at 13, because you're one step away from the Super Bowl, and
yeah,
you're gonna draft a successor at 13 when there's players out there, receivers out there they could have went for, traded still. And as you see the draft going right now, they could have traded back and got a receiver. So
yeah,
I'm not a fan of it.
exactly. Like that's my perspective too. Like, put aside even what you think about Ty Simpson, or like even let's not assume the next year's class is going to be great, because I think a lot of times the modern day the best NFL draft class is the next one, not the current one. It seems like lately, but putting that aside, like I'm just confused at the Rams' plan. Like they are in the twilight years of Matt Stafford's career. Why not use this pick to get someone that can help you win the Super Bowl? Because that's your goal. Your goal is to win the Super Bowl now. And that's always been a franchise that's been very much like, we're going for it. We're going to make it happen. And we do not care what happens in the future.
Yeah, and again, the one step away, Cooper. It looks like they've been hurting since Cooper Cup's been gone at that receiver spot. They have that one option, Puka. Go get another option at receiver. Get Ty Simpson in the second round. Trade up for Ty Simpson in the second round. But that's just a head scratcher at 13. At 13, too.
Yeah, very much so. We have our next pick off the board here. Peter Woods goes to the Chiefs. A very interesting pick here. Peter Woods is a very talented player, a guy who last year was looked at as like potentially a top 5 guy. But now kind of struggled a little bit. This past year was not great. There's a lot to like there because you got the upside, but at the same time, you also have to worry about a guy who kind of got exposed a little bit in college sometimes. What's going to happen in the NFL? What are your thoughts on the pick?
I'm currently Googling Chris Jones' remaining contract, because again, like ahead, unless you have plans for Chris Jones here in the next couple of years, which he looks like he has about 3 million, or sorry, 3 million, 3 years left. I don't get this pick either. Again, like you have other needs, and you're gonna go to defensive tackle, where you have probably one of the best, if not the best, in the NFL at that position right now.
Yeah, agreed. And by the way, we have a trade. The Jets have traded back into the first round. They're going to pick for a third time. The thing is, I think a lot of people thought this was possible, but it was going to be for Ty Simpson. He's off the board. What do we think the Jets are doing here?
I mean, I would go receiver. I mean, they kind of addressed the pass catching and the with the tight end, but I would go receiver, maybe even cornerback. I mean, maybe McCoy here. What, 0 picks last year as a team? Did they get one week 18? So maybe
No,
McCoy,
they never got one.
They never got one. Okay, so maybe McCoy here. I could see maybe Boston or
Omar Cooper.
Omar Cooper here. But I would address something along the route running, pass catching / defending side here.
Low key, if you're worried about McCoy's injuries, Omar or D'Angelo Pons is another corner I'm looking at.
And selection has been made.
Here we go. I think Tony knew it already. Oh, there it is, Omar Cooper.
Omar Cooper, yep. Which I
Yep.
I love that. Put him there with Garrett Wilson.
Absolutely. That was a good pick for them. Now, of course, maybe not great for the Bills. We may have been
Right.
we
Yeah.
may have been hoping for that, but
One pick away.
Now I wonder if the Bills moved back because they thought they would have got Cooper there, and the Jets got aggressive. Which, if so, I mean, checkmate Jets on that one, on that move. So
yeah. My thing is though, because I like the depth of this receiver class. I think you're going to be able to get some good receivers in the second or third round of this draft. And now the Bills have more picks in that range. Maybe they're looking at an edge rusher here, or even like Caden McDonald on the inside.
yeah, I mean, it's Cooper's just so, I think he's dynamic. I think he's good.
He
Again, I was
is.
telling you about those. Just the ability, like you see, I'm sitting here watching ESPN, the ability to get the feet down the way he did in that game against Penn State. Like, it's just tough. It's just tough to miss on him if that's what you're going for. It can be
Yeah.
deep, but some of these top guys, like Cooper and his ability to make the plays after the catch, the ability to the toe tapping, to the back shoulder throws, the ability that he has, if that was what the Bills were hoping to get by dropping back and maybe gaining a little extra picks, it's tough to lose on that situation. So we'll see what the Bills do here if they even dress the receivers. But I was really hoping for the Cooper for the Bills.
Yeah, if they take a receiver here, we know that maybe Cooper was the plan,
Yeah.
and that might be tough. So we'll see what happens. Ooh, I see another update here. The Steelers are on the phone with Mekhi Lemon at 21,
Oh,
planning to pick him, and then the Eagles traded up and took him.
Eagles got him at what,
From
20 at 20. Yeah. How'd you feel about Mekhi Lemon's interview? That was kind of
So I was expecting that. To be honest, I heard basically like when I was in Colorado, I got to talk to a guy who does like a lot of Big Ten journeys kind of stuff. Like he does a lot of stuff for the Big Ten Network, and he told us that day that Mekhi Lemon was like the worst interview he's ever had of any like Big Ten player. And it wasn't like anything like off the field. There just was, like it wasn't anything like off the field or anything, like nothing like super bad. It just was, kind of just like one of those things where he knows football and that's about it.
Bills just traded their pick again.
I think your theory that they wanted Omar Cooper Jr. I think that just that validates that. They
Yeah.
said, "Well, never mind. I'm going home."
That's crazy.
This is the second of the 3 years we've done this. This is the second time the Bills have traded out of the first round, and I only get to see them pick live. We have 2 Bills fans on the show right now. We're not even going to get to watch this pick.
Where the Tennessee gonna go with this? Because they took Cardinal Tate already. What are they trading up for?
So when we talked about them earlier, we were very much thinking they needed offensive line help. I think a lot of where we saw Tennessee fall apart was, Taylor Lewan got old, he retired, and they never properly replaced him. I think that's maybe a position they look for here.
Yeah, but who at this point is there? Who at this point would you take
It's not-
on offensive line?
It's not looking good. I was just looking at that. There's a lot of talent on the board still, but I don't know. It'd be hard to go down and get Chase Basantis as. Oh.
Pick us in.
Here we go. Raj is announcing it.
320,000 people in Pittsburgh. About to be a fun time.
Oh,
And in their hometown, the Eagles took their spot. Keltrick Falk, a guy that a lot of people had in the first round. Very high upside player. Hasn't produced. He very much reminds people of Shamar Stewart in that regard, where there's a lot of talent, but he hasn't gotten the sack production just yet. But a very high upside guy here for the Titans to grab late in the first round. What are your thoughts?
yeah, very, very, very strong on the edge. Very powerful. I mean, I think physicality gives him a little bit of potential. But like you said, hasn't produced. Um, and I think this is maybe I don't know what they traded to get to this spot, but I think there's again other players that could have taken them around this position this pick. So we'll see. I mean, yeah, again, the potential, but I don't think I would have traded up to 31 to get him.
Yeah, yeah, and again, like I thought offensive line was maybe a position they would look at here. But overall, like I don't mind it. I think you got a guy who was projected to go earlier. There's a lot of good and bad with it. And
Rob-
man, we're on.
Robert
I
Sala
was-
too. He's defensive minded.
Yeah,
He could lean that way if in a pinch. Although they traded up for it, so
I mean, maybe he saw something. Maybe he saw something in Falk that he liked. With Salah.
yeah. And now that I think of it with Salo, like I think that's a good development spot for him as well. I think that's a good place for him to land. And we're on the last pick of the draft. Like this clock change of going down to 8 minutes has actually been panning off very well because I remember in past years we have gone till midnight on this show, and right now it is 11 Eastern. This is pretty nice. I like this.
Nice for us who have to go to work tomorrow too. So.
yeah, it's a school
Exactly.
night. Getting late on a school night.
Hey, why you got that? Why you got that Idaho State on? I'll show you. I got the old Stetson Hatters hat on right here.
Oh, I love it. Heck yes.
So
The Stetson Hatters. What's the affiliation there? Or was it just like a cool random hat that you liked?
I live in DeLand, where Stetson is, DeLand, Florida, and I was at Goodwill in DeLand, Florida, and it was sitting on the rack, and I mean it's as clean as it gets. So
Yeah,
so-
that's awesome.
yeah.
Heck yes. I love that. Yeah, you end up fitting the theme of the show perfectly there with the Stetson Hatters.
That's awesome. Yeah. It's I got to go to last year. They went to the tournament. I was at their conference games that they played at home because in the ASUN that they play some at home. But yeah, I got to go to a couple of basketball games. I went to a couple of football games, but the basketball games are where it's at. It's a lot of fun. Small arena gets very loud.
Yeah, that's awesome. Definitely, like again, like local college basketball games can be so much fun, and obviously, like for me, right up the road, Miami was a very fun team this year. The Miami Redhawks, obviously, finishing the regular season 31-0. That was a really cool experience, and that's the kind of cool stuff you get, like checking out your local college scene.
Oh yeah. Yeah. The baseball's actually, I said basketball was where it's at. Baseball, they pack a college baseball stadium full of people, which you don't really see too much for these small schools. But they have almost like a minor league kind of feel to it and they do pretty good production and everything with it. So no, I enjoy hanging out at Stetson when I get a chance, and it's in the middle of downtown DeLand, Florida. Beautiful little campus, old school, the brick buildings, the Spanish moss, and everything like that. So, repping the Hatters tonight.
That's awesome. That's pretty neat. Like I have like a whole hat collection. Like you can see, I have a bunch of them behind me here.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm probably like close to like 100 different teams, and the sets and hatters are not one of them. That is one I've not been able to find yet.
So if I find another good hat that's worth it, I'll ship it to you.
Sounds good. That's a deal.
Who we got? The
So
Last
Seahawks.
pick.
the Seahawks are up here. Do you think they go corner? They need a corner. Lots of corners have fallen. Like we've been mentioning McCoy a few times. There's the other Tennessee corner, Colton Hood. A lot of people had him in the first round. Um, who do you think they end up going with here?
I would say they have to go a corner here. I also don't mind the kid out of Toledo. He's a safety, but
Oh,
address the secondary still, um, especially with the McCoy injuries but they gotta go. I think they gotta go secondary.
yeah, I agree. Now Roger picked up a card, read that one, and then put that one away, and then
Rogers making the
and
pick
then
for him. I was also gonna say running back. I wouldn't mind Price or one of the the Penn State running back.
yeah, that'd be a good one too.
Uh, let's see here. My thing is, I got both my noise canceling headphones in. I can't even hear a word they're saying on there. I'm just waiting for it to pop up.
Yeah, I have it muted. Oh
Yeah.
wait, no, is so Raj gave up the mic there. Is this guest announcing the pick? If he is, like it looks like he is absolutely electric right now. He is yelling into the microphone. It looks like a lot of fun. Um, I still don't think they announced the pick yet.
Oh, I have the pick popped up. It's actually popping up faster on the ESPN tracker than it is on the thing.
Yeah, and like Twitter was like a few picks ahead at one point as well. Oh, there it is. There's Price.
Yep, Jerry
So
Price.
two Notre Dame running backs going in the first round.
That's something special. That's something you don't see every day, too.
Yeah. So that tells me they don't think Zach Charbonnet is going to be, just able to handle all the carries himself. He needs some help a little bit. Man, that's going to be pretty interesting to see for their offense. They definitely value that position. They lost Kenneth Walker,
Super Bowl
and they
MVP.
decided, yeah, Super Bowl MVP Kenneth Walker, and now they got their next guy. So let's kind of wrap it up this way. Normally we end the show pretty quickly because it's like midnight Eastern. Um, everyone, give your final top. What do you think? Top 3 or 5 favorite picks?
Do you want to lead us off, or I'll go ahead. I mean, I obviously I like the Jeremiah Love. I told you the Proctor. I like Proctor, and I liked Freeling. I think I talked about them, and I talked about the Caleb Downs pick. So I think those are my top 4 picks right there. Um, I'm also, being down in Florida, a lot of Miami fans. I love Ruben Bain. Ruben Bain, the edge out of Miami, staying in Florida, going to Tampa. Um, I I don't know. I watching him in the playoffs, watching he was just an absolute dog. And whenever Miami needed him and is it Mansour? They I hope I'm saying that name right. Um, maybe
Oh,
Mesidor.
Mesidor,
Mesidor,
yeah.
yeah, sorry. Yeah, Mesidor. I mean, when they needed those two, they called and they answered. I loved both of them, but I think Bane out of the two was my favorite to watch. So I think those are my top 5 picks. Um, and then also, throwing out there, I do love Sonny Styles. I like the linebacker. I think it's going to be good for Washington as well. Uh, so those are probably my favorite picks out of the draft so far.
Yeah, that one, Styles is another good early one.
Yeah.
Intern, what are your thoughts?
There's a lot of switching around, and frankly, if I wasn't on the pod, I probably would have watched something else during this time. So, nothing spectacular with my picks, but I think the Caleb Downs, as we mentioned, that one was huge. It's a dual threat. It fixes a gaping hole, worse than the Bengals even. I think the Concepcion pick, I think that makes a lot of sense because Cleveland, the Judy experiment up there, it hasn't worked. So I think they're kind of addressing that a little bit. I'm not a big fan of that Jadarian Price for the last pick. If we're being honest, I think they just reached because they needed that position. But will he be able to pick up, the slack that Kenneth Walker left? I don't know. And then at that point, what did you end up getting out of the pick? So those are kind of some of my thoughts.
Very nice. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Caleb Downs first. I mean that one was a clear winner. Sonny Styles to the Commanders, that was a really good one. Kind of a chalk pick, but I think the Raiders getting Fernando Mendoza, I think that could be really huge for them. Chris Johnson to the Dolphins, I think that was a really good pick by the Dolphins. A sorely needed corner and a guy who has shown a lot of good tape. And then to top it all off, like you mentioned earlier, Dylan, the 40 time, like the 40 time showed that he could play his speed too. So I think that was a really good pick. And then yeah, I think I like the Browns trading down to 9 and still getting their guy in Spencer Fano. Getting themselves a protector on that offensive line. That was a really good move as well.
Yeah, that was the play of the game.
So, one last parting thought here. Obviously, Dylan, you did not get to see the Bills pick tonight, but who we're looking at the Bills picking pretty early tomorrow. So maybe give like a little bit of a board of like who you want to see the Bills take here.
Well, I do want them to address the receiver. But I also think the 49ers have a big chance of addressing that as well if they don't go corner. But I would like to see the Bills maybe at this point, maybe but Denzel Boston's that big body too. But I wouldn't mind, going with it. I think Denzel Boston's where I want to see them pick if they can get him there at the third pick in the second round. Also wouldn't mind them maybe. I really like that Toledo, McKeel Warren out of Toledo. I think he's a good physical in the secondary. The Bills could use a little secondary help as well. So I actually got to watch them play in the playoffs at Jacksonville this year, and I don't know. I just think that secondary just needs a little more help, and I think that he's a guy that is just physical but can also play the ball, and he would be good too. So I'd say either go with McKeel Warren or go with Denzel Boston, and I'll be happy with that.
Yeah, those are really good. I would say, yeah, McNeil Warren, that might be my number one option. I feel like he would be really awesome. Always a player like, obviously, I'm a little bit biased. These are all Matt Cats behind me. Very big matching guy, but still, like the player itself, like he's a really good player. And then maybe my second option, maybe Cassius Howell. I think he's a really good edge rusher. Could give the Bills better presence there. And then Caden McDonald, I mentioned him earlier, an inside presence. Obviously, the Bills have been, kind of struggling in the inside. I'm not sure if we have like a true inside tackle for the defensive switch that we're about to go through. So McDonald could really fill that gap as well.
I just want to see him pick.
That too.
Anybody.
Intern, you're in the same boat here. You're hoping to see the Bengals pick. What are you thinking?
Haven't thought that far ahead, to be honest with you.
We got a long wait.
Yeah. Yeah, all three of us are just sitting there like, cool. Everyone else got to pick but us.
What I didn't get to see what did you think about the trade with Dex Lawrence?
So at first I was like, man, we gave up a pretty hefty pick. But then as I thought about it more, I was like, we're at 10, we were kind of at a weird spot
Yeah,
where, it was like you don't really know if you're going to get a blessing drop down, you know.
maybe like a Caleb Downs.
Yeah, yeah, do you want to like base it all on like a bet that they will be? The Bengals are cheap, so,
Yeah.
probably not. So from that regard, it'll definitely absolutely help our defense, and that, you know I think there's a lot of upside for us. Like I'm back to drinking the Kool-Aid. I was so disenchanted with the Bengals last year that, you know just watching them score so many points, but their defense just absolutely pooping the bed. Like it broke my damn heart. So I'm
Well,
happy to see that they've addressed it, and
I
I
do,
think it was a fair trade.
and I do. Well, I think the Giants fumbled that 10 pick. I mean, I would
Yeah,
have passing on Caleb Downs. I just that's
Especially
tough.
allowing the Cowboys to get him
Right. Yeah.
afterwards. Like I think the Giants fans are a very interesting position because they got Arvell Reese at 5. That was a steal. You come around to 10, and I don't know if they just didn't expect Caleb Downs to be there, but like I feel like the Giants could have had a mean, nasty defense if they had drafted him there. And instead, they let him go to the Dallas Cowboys. It's going to be very interesting to see how that one pans out. And I think that's kind of where, like, now for the Bengals, it's like, oh, but we could have had Caleb Downs. In hindsight, it didn't work as hoped.
yeah.
Um, but in a vacuum, I did like the trade for the Bengals. I think it's good that they're finally making moves for Joe Burrow. Like, I
Yeah.
mean,
First time ever trading a pick, a top 10 pick for a player. This front office is something else. And I'll leave it at that.
yeah, we have we'll have our favorite NFC North show this offseason where we'll get to we'll get to talk about how the fish stinks from the head when it comes to the Bengals. Tony's quote right there. But
I didn't hear what you said. I was reading Matt's comment.
oh, I was referencing your the fish stinks from the head comment.
It does, dude. It does. He's old. He's a retired guy. Go to greener pastures. Let us be.
But anyways, I will wrap it up now. Kind of again, like nice pace of the draft. Like it went pretty quick. We even got to normally we're off this thing like right away at the end because it's so late. We have to do a little 15-minute post draft show here. But 3 hours and 15 minutes, I think is enough for people to hear us talk. So Dylan, tell the people where they can find you.
At SSN_NFL. And I'll be posting about the NFL. Um, I stay pretty much with. I do have the Shefty notifications on, so I try to be as quick as possible. So I try to stay up there. I know I'm never gonna break the news first, but I try to break it as fast as Shefty after he posts it. So um, find me at SSNF NFL. If you can't watch on a Sunday, but you want some quick highlights, I usually post that. Post all the big news as well.
Very awesome. Thank you for joining us, and we'll definitely have you back. Obviously, now
Absolutely.
knowing that you're a Bills fan, we'll have to have you on for the AFC East preview this year.
I'll be here. Can't wait.
Awesome. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Have a good night, guys.
You too.
You
Thank
too.
you.
All right, intern. Well, we navigated a lot tonight.
The slog.
We
The
were
slog.
we were down the hose. You had audio issues at the start, but hey, I think we powered through. We had a great draft show.
Yeah, I think it really turned out good. All the guests were really great compliments to the show. I feel like it'll really give really give the audience something good Good to listen to. Plus, they won't hear us babbling on and on for 3 hours and 15 minutes.
Exactly. I guess some signing off comments here. Obviously, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. We're here on YouTube. We also have our shows that air usually if we go live, they'll air the next day on Spotify, Apple, or wherever else you get your podcasts. And of course, be sure to tune in. We'll be taking next week off. Giving ourselves a break after a 3 hour and 15-minute show. And you know what? If someone stuck through for the last 3 hours and 15 minutes, they get to get a little announcement here at the end. We probably won't announce this on Twitter until next week, but we have a pretty cool show coming on May 6th. May 6th, live at 8 o'clock Eastern. We'll be having College Football Campus Tour on the show. Get to talk about all his travels. He has traveled to every single FBS stadium, many FCS stadiums, and so much more. Be sure to tune into that May 6th at 8 o'clock Eastern, live right here on YouTube. Thank you for joining us tonight, and have a good one, everyone.